I will call this Destin City Council meeting to order. All right, April 7th, 2026. And let me make sure I got this here. All right, so we're going to start off with our invocation by our one and only Pastor David J. Butler, Faith Assembly Christian Church. Thanks for always being here for us.
Would you bow your heads with me, please? Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful evening. Thank you for our glorious city and all of its residents. We pray for wisdom tonight amongst our city council. Everything we do, may it be pleasing to your plan and purposes for our lives. We pray, Lord, that you'd watch over and protect those that are citizens, and then plus those that visit us every day. We ask you to watch over. Lord, we just ask that this meeting be committed to you. And now your blessing found in Numbers chapter 6 is this. And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he give you his peace. Amen.
Thank you for that. All right. Councilman Bagby, you want to do the pledge? Or we already did the pledge? We already did. All right. Just ingrained into me at this point. Yeah, all right. Well, if a veteran tells me we've already done it, we've already done it. All right, with that, any changes, alterations to the agenda? I have one. All right, jump on in.
Yep. Mayor, I'd like to pull, it's C. Crystal and I will come back at a later date with a more comprehensive and smaller presentation on the monies available going forward. We're looking 5 years out for funding that's available to spend on all these projects. And of course, the big decision will be when we make it tonight if we're going to go forward with either or both of the town center options, because that's probably over $50 million there. So,
and that's for city manager, C, just to clarify?
No, available funding summary, informational only.
All right, thank you.
So in the visioning portion.
Okay, perfect. All right, anything else? All right, seeing none, I'll accept a motion with that modification.
Motion to approve as modified.
All right, with a second? I'll second that. All right, I got a second. Seeing no further discussions, we'll call the vote.
Oh, that's right, we're back on. No, it's on. Okay.
All right, we're doing roll call? All right, we'll roll call it then.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, ayes have it, so moved. All right, with that, we'll be into the agenda approval, and we'll go through all those. Okay, so we're right into proclamations. All right. No? This thing looks different than normal. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, agenda approval. So Larry, are you up? It's been a while.
Not a problem. We're ready to rock and roll if you guys are. So good evening,
Yeah.
sir.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I guess, for lack of a better term, the legislative sponsor of this, or made a couple of the motions that got us to here. And really, to make this simple, when we were talking about reprioritizing or whatever, as I went back and reviewed our strategic plan, the critical priorities, the main difference we need to make in the critical priorities, I think, is to remove everything after the semicolons. So I'm fine with work with stakeholders to pursue the Destin City Center. Don't need to discuss the Phase 1 plan. I'm fine with public waterfront acquisition. Don't need to talk about Harbor One. We should, to me, that's still a priority and always will be a priority in the city of Destin, is acquisition of public land next to water. So, and we've got, I know the staff has given us each a sheet to prioritize. The only thing I would say about that sheet is to get rid of everything after the semicolon in each one of those phases, or where it talks about phases, and see if we want to change that. The other thing, and I would keep 1.1, not get rid of it, and then but I would also move up 1.9 into the critical priorities for the council. So we would have 9 critical priorities, and then the actual prioritization would be whatever we decided on the sheet tonight, if that makes sense. 1.9 is Morgan Sports Center and Dalton Threadgill Park Master Plan for renovations. Got it. So if we could do that. That would probably save us talking about each one of these specifically, and I apologize because we need to do that, and then we need to figure out the town center. That's really, prioritized, because like I said, that's $50 million in costs going forward, and we need to figure out which one. We can't do both of them, and what happens in this city is we study everything, and it takes 10 years to do something because we didn't have the money to do one. If we just picked one and done it, 10, well, 20. Okay, we bought the land for the Crosstown Connector in my first term, 20 years ago. So that's, but yeah. So I would just ask, let's get our strategic priorities, and then we can have a discussion on what we want to do about the town center.
So just for clarification, I'm on board, I believe, with everything you said. Are you also wanting us to rank them 1.1 to 1.9 to put them in that order, or can they not just be 1.1 through 1.9?
From my perspective, they can be in that order.
It doesn't, right.
It doesn't matter, but the staff gave us a sheet because I think, and I won't speak for the city manager, but I think they wanted to see if we wanted to change any of the priorities.
Okay.
I think if they're above the priority line, they're all a priority.
Right.
And as opportunities present themselves, we fund those. But I will defer to the city manager.
Our objective was to simply provide you a mechanism if you wanted to rank them. We certainly understand the importance of each of them, and in keeping the existing 1.1, which is pursue the city town center, on that list. We could certainly do that. We did move up the 1.9, the Morgans up into the ones that if you chose to rank them, if not, that's certainly fine too. But we, as opposed to, just making sure everybody would have the opportunity to list them in some ranking order if you so chose. And if not, we understand the importance of each of them and would be nimble in the process. As opportunities present themselves, we would take advantage of them.
So I'd like to just then go ahead and do what you said, do 1.1 to 1.9, take away the phase 1, everything after the semicolons to clean those up that aren't beyond it. And I don't really want to rank anything, but I believe that everything inside those critical priorities should be.
Okay. I'll second that motion.
All right, I got a motion and a second. Any further discussions? Woman Trammell.
Explain it to us.
I got Trammell up first.
Explain what the motion is.
Yep, no problem. So we're going to keep everything that's here, 1.1 through 1.8. We're going to move 1.9 up to council's critical priorities. So in theory, there will be 9 council critical priorities. Under each one of those priorities where it speaks about phase 1 or acquiring property that we already acquired, that part of the line will be just removed. But we'll still keep like public waterfront acquisition initiative. But each line will be cleaned up to be more in the current state. Like we've already done phase 1.
I've got you.
Okay.
And I think you made the statement that these really are not going to be ranked at 1 to 9. They're equal opportunity initiatives.
All right, Councilwoman Trammell.
The only suggestion I had is on number 1, it says public waterfront acquisition. We have a lot of public waterfront that we already own that hasn't been cleared out. How do we add that to that particular one? I don't want, it's not a new acquisition.
No,
we just need
okay.
to do something with it.
I would say you could add the phrase "and improvement." So that critical priority would now say
Acquisition and
public
improvement.
waterfront acquisition and improvement.
Would we have a semicolon there?
No. See, I'm trying to get us out here before midnight, okay?
And that's fine with me if all of you agree with that we need
Yeah.
to start looking at those pieces.
Okay.
All right.
All right, my last one, my just comment on there is the two-lane crosstown connector, Benning to Beach Drive, or Benning. To my knowledge, there's no more council initiatives on that unless you guys need to have it on there for a cross-off later.
Well, we've got some conversation that's coming back to you about the fencing and the soundproofing, so there's still a little
Okay.
bit more there that probably would be okay to leave it there.
Okay, all right, with that, seeing no further discussions, we'll call the vote on the motion on the floor.
Yes.
I will vote yes, but my computer is not coming on again.
All right, Rodney, come on, bring us home.
Yes.
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 All right, ayes have it unanimously, so moved. All right, Larry, B.
Yeah, I don't even know where it is.
Capital
Yeah.
Z. You need to do the password.
Whatever's next, Larry.
So item A is regarding the Destin City Center location. From the visioning session, we were asked to bring this back, and we're a little late in bringing it back, but we kind of wanted to get Tina back on staff and give her some time to look through it. So if you recall, the SRS folks presented you with two options, one over in the community center area and one here in this area to do some redevelopment into a city center. And so from the visioning session, it was recommended or asked that we bring it back to council for determine if one of those we want to make our priority and that we begin moving down that path of seeing it come to fruition over time and what that may look like. But initially, let's decide whether we want to do something here, the scale and scope of that, or if we want to do something over in the community center, or perhaps both. So that's where we are with that conversation. The information in your packet was from the SRS study and the plans that they laid out. So we would just ask for your direction and thoughts as we move forward.
All right, and with that, Councilman Bagby with the motion, that's what you're calling for? Well, I was going to have you call into the motion for discussion.
I'll defer to Sandy.
All right, Councilwoman Trammell?
I personally liked the location that they had of the governmental center being here, community center being where now City Hall is, but keeping the current community center we have at that end instead of putting that little park thing that they drew in there. So that's really what I'm looking for as far as a goal. But I don't know what Mr. Bagby's motion is going to be, so I don't know.
All right, Councilman Bagby.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have two options, and I'll refer to them as the governmental center and the Gateway project. The Gateway project is the one down by Harbor One, by where the community center is, and of course the governmental center is here across the street to include Public Works and everything. On the Gateway Center, I'm not saying don't do it, but we can't afford to do both. In fact, I'm not even sure we can afford to do the plan that they designed for the governmental center, to be honest with you. Their estimate 2 years ago, or based on numbers 2 years ago, was 34 million, I believe, and it's probably up to 50 million now, just because of the increase in construction costs and things, if y'all have been paying attention the last year or two. So we have to have a priority. The Gateway, besides the Harbor One project, there's discussions going on with the University of Florida and some others about possibly putting a research facility there and some other things. And so I don't think it's ripe, which is I guess a judicial term, but it's not ready for us to make a decision about that. We've got potentially the bridge. You know, some days we have the bridge, some days we don't have the bridge. You know, as long as we have the
We were there
TPO
yesterday, we
chair.
don't have the bridge.
Yeah, we don't have the bridge. So that's today. But in the future, we may have the bridge. And so we have, I think, the Harbor CRA one, you know, they had a recommendation of putting allowing boats to tie up there, yeah. So I think that is just in too much flux for us to make a decision. So my motion is going to be that we direct staff to prioritize the governmental center. And what that means, Sandy, to your point, doesn't mean we're going to approve the plan that they gave us, because I'm not going to support a skate park. I will gladly support expanding the dog park, but I'm not sure we need another new dog park. You need to move it across the way after we've spent the last 5 years teaching everybody where it is. So I think if we prioritize the government center, then we can come back and have discussions on, well, which is the first building we built? Is it the gymnasium, or is it what do we want to do first? But that gets us on the road to making decisions and spending money and achieving results that help this town. So my motion, and I think Kevin just saying it, is to direct staff to prioritize the governmental center development and to bring back an initial plan on what they see as the logical sequence of building that out.
All right, and then with that motion and second, Councilman Schmidt, you're up next. You got anything else?
No, just what you finished on was one of my main questions, was getting that and what that's going to look like from staff, which that'll be good, because I assume that would be part of our upcoming budget year and all of that. So your hope is that we're getting that over these next handful of months to start preparing, right? Yeah. Which is great. And yeah, I'm happy to hear that. And I think we have big needs on this side of town for some of these things. And this is a great step forward to try to get there. So let's go.
All right, with that, I see no other discussions. Councilman Destin?
Yeah, I've thought about this and tried to come to a conclusion that to spend 50 to 100, because 50 was the bottom number that I heard. 50 to 100 million dollars makes it the largest project this city's ever been involved in. And if I was going to spend 50 to 100 million, it wouldn't be to build an edifice to municipal government, which is what this is. I have no problem with improving this area out here. It needs some. But to just tear it all down and put the city into that kind of debt to move our center, the harbor has always been the center of Destin. So we're going to move our center out here at the farthest reach on the eastern boundary that we can and spend 50 to 100 million dollars. I think that's a poor idea, and one that will be little supported by the folks who live here. And so I would say that we need to look at individual improvements, which the plan suggested. Mm-hmm. The traffic out here between us and Morgan is dangerous. I sat over in the little league baseball, not little league, but machine pitch, watching little 3 and 4 year old kids try to make a mad dash for this gate here with this opening that comes across, and there is no gate there, and being caught just in time by mom. So we have plenty of things we can do, but not 50 to 100 million dollars to build ourselves some kind of, as I said, edifice to municipal government. I'll make a substitute motion when we go forward to direct the staff to look at the proposal that we got in the study and come back with some things that we can do in the short term and that we can afford to do, rather than go, head over heels into a 50 to 100 million dollar project on this site when, in all honesty, what we have is working. 50 to 100 million, I think of a lot of things we can do in Destin that'll benefit the citizens more than building that. So that's my feelings on the issue.
All right, I'll just point heard. I'll kind of give you some counterpoints then. Through the TPO and through the traffic studies, our largest hot spot as far as crash fatalities, pedestrian hittings, are at the at Stallman intersection and at the harbor there. My fear of increasing pedestrian activity over there by the community center is putting more harm in way per the data than over here at Morgan's. Going from 50 million to 100 million seems a little outrageous, and that's assuming that we're going to do this alone, that there's not other organizations, that there's not other functions of a community that wouldn't want to be in some way a part of this. Because to your point, I agree. I think a government building would be a waste of money, but a facility for the youth, a facility for after-school programs, there's so many nonprofit, for-profit, and quasi-judicial profit that would allow some kind of win-win participation on land that we already own in an area that is the center of town. This isn't the far east boundary. Our far east boundary touches Walton County in Crystal Beach, and there's plenty of Crystal Beach people here tonight. So the fact that this is the far east boundary is incorrect. And I don't want to get rid of the community center on the west side of town, but this is the middle of town. We own the most land here, and to rebuild something that's already duct taped up isn't a bad decision for the next generation to take over. So I respectfully understand that we want to do this fiduciarily. We don't need to go into crippling debt, but we're making a lot of assumptions. Those statements are making a lot of assumptions that I don't believe are going to be true if we actually want to do this. So that would just be my counterpoints to those accusations.
And exactly the point I'm making, that we should go forward to see what we can afford and what we can build to address those issues, rather than tell them it appears to go forward with this big project that is going to be in excess of $50 million. So anybody, if there's any other
Yep.
discussion.
I got some more right here. Councilman Braden?
Thank you. I agree with a lot of what Mr. Destin was just saying. And I'd love to see those results from the crash report from Stallman. And they may be a lot of fender benders or something there, maybe that,
A lot of pedestrian hits.
a lot of pedestrian
Yeah,
hits.
bikes and walking. A lot of it's froggers, a lot of it's with the nature of what's around there,
So
but
that's people going to the Emerald Grand.
probably to and from, but it doesn't get that specific. It's just police reports and other reports that come together to make that.
And we do need to fix that.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's not, yeah. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me personally, there's a lot more bad wrecks out around Regatta Bay, Lowe's, where I had one about a month ago and guy crossed in front of me and I T-boned him and just totaled my truck and his car and all, like killed both of us. So like I said, I don't know what's going on at Stallman. I've never seen anybody up there, but I'd love to see the results.
Yeah,
of
absolutely, yeah. that's what- yep.
What's going on up there. It's probably that turn lane coming off of Stallman, people walking and they're not
Probably.
looking. But anyway, yeah, I'm with Mr. Destin, spending that kind of money for a huge building, $75 million to put more people in, so we can just spend more money and add more $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 studies and another $30,000 for somebody to study the study and that kind of stuff. When we've been talking about the community center, redoing it, and Miss Lisa and her group with all the sports and stuff, that brings a lot of money to this town, a lot of money. Restaurants, motels, all that. All we do is spend it. They're making it. That's just my thought. So I'd love to see us spend some money on that end before we spend $100 million, because like Dewey said, this is working for right now. The roofs aren't leaking like they are at the community center. The windows aren't all fogged up. It looks horrible for all the tourists that are going there. So
All right,
that's where I stand on that.
no, point taken. Councilman Bagby?
Yeah, so maybe I'm going to assume there was a misunderstanding of the motion, the original motion, and I assume Mr. Braden is going to be a second for the substitute motion by Mr. Destin. All we're directing the staff to do in the original motion is come back with a plan, not spending a single penny, based on the consultant's report and the consultant's advice for the governmental center. Not building a single thing. Each of those, once the staff brings us, and they're just bringing us back a timeline, a sequence. You know, our recommendation is you build the community center or the building where the nonprofits can host things, or kids can have after-school classes, or whatever, whatever the council at that time decides to do. And then the council would approve that prioritization or say, no, we want to expand the dog park first, or we want to put in more pickleball courts first, or we want to do whatever that's based on that original plan, so that we don't keep studying this thing to death, okay, so that we don't keep spending money. It won't be, I don't think it'll be 50 million, because I think a couple of those things, I hope, will fall out, to be honest with you, like the skate park and a couple of the other things. But there is a group, a contingent in this community that want a skate park, and they'll be here the night that's discussed, and the council at that time will make that decision on whether or not to build it and spend that money. But my initial motion didn't spend a penny. It just directed staff to bring us back a sequencing of the things that are already in the study that we received. And so I won't support the substitute motion, because I think we do have to have a vision for the future of this community. And we have to have part of that vision is a vision for the governmental center, not government edifices and building big Taj Mahals, but do we want places for classes, or English as a second language training, or more pickleball courts, or whatever, which is incorporated within my original motion. So that's all I would say is, I think we're saying the same thing. Neither one of us wants to spend $100 million. I don't think we should. I don't think we will on facilities in this area, but we ought to have a plan what we want this area to look like and how we want it to function 20 years from now.
All right, Councilman Schmidt?
Yeah, just a few things, and then Ms. Lisa, a question. Over here at Morgan's complex, would you say that we are limited in the ability to offer city programmings without having any type of shelter, rain, backup plan over here, like with city programming?
Yes, sir. Yes, we have all outdoor facilities, and of course, all the programs that we do have here are, parents drop the children off or whatever for a short practice. They're responsible for their child. So if we have rain or lightning or anything like that, they need to go with their parents. We would, like at the community center, we can have 4-hour camps or whatever, all-day camps. And if the weather is bad, we have places for them. So that is one thing that we really need to look at when we do build something over at Morgan's, to get us some indoor facility for the children.
Sure, okay, I appreciate it. So just a few notes. I mean, one thing tonight we are doing, I believe tonight, is we are approving $700,000 or $800,000 to replace the roof on the community center, which has been talked about for a few years. And I believe there's an item that talks about the additional $1 million or so that's needed to fix the other stuff on there. So that's good that we're moving forward, because the community center does do a lot of good. I don't think the community center is meeting all of our needs recreationally for the city and for visitors, would you say?
You're correct.
Is there room for more?
Yeah. We've been, the gym has been overcrowded for 10, 15 years. We know that. It has stopped the enrollment of what we can do there for each program that we do.
And I was speaking to somebody, there was mention about people in Destin might not want this. There might be some people in Destin might not want this. I bet you there's a lot more that probably would. Specifically, I was speaking to somebody that's developing a neighborhood right near here, and he was talking about he's selling lots primarily to families, pretty much people with families and kids, 40-plus lots right here behind us. That's going to be additional families that would want to come right here on this side to utilize Morgan's. And there was also talk about the 10 acres of land that's owned by Indian Bayou that now is going to be up for discussion about what it could be even used for in the future. And I think that's a possible opportunity for the city as well to be looking at. So, and like the mayor said, the TDC, obviously that's our big funding pot for a lot of projects that goes on here. I'm pretty sure, I mean, they're talking about a massive development right now at the fairgrounds, the old fairgrounds in Fort Walton Beach, to do some very great things. And even if we did the minor stuff like Mr. Destin's talking about, I know we'd get the TDC support for sure. Doing a larger scale item like this, I'm just as confident that this would check all the boxes to be tourist development funded in some way or another, in addition to all the other things. So again, like Mr. Bagby said, this is only to start planning, to start seeing a plan. This council had an opportunity over a year ago, 2 years ago, less than a year ago, to talk about a park master plan. For one reason or another, we didn't even execute the full plan, to the point where it's now basically dead, which is unfortunate. So we talk about this stuff, but then we don't actually get it there and execute to do the things that people are telling us are broken, we need to fix, we need to do better. So if we can do like Mr. Bagby's saying, just to kind of see, I think this is great. So I hope we can move forward and start looking at this about what it's going to be like over here.
All right, to bring it home, for procedural, just so I can get back on it, Councilman Braden, are you seconding the substitute motion that Councilman Destin had?
Hasn't been made yet.
I thought you offered a substitute motion.
But I will offer one.
Oh, you will offer. Oh, yeah, devil's in the details. All right. All right. Will you?
I will be happy to make one. Let's see. Let's see if we can come out with something that we will all agree on. Kevin's right, if there's some opportunity to get some land, as he was just suggesting, the 10 or whatever acres it is, we should pursue that. It should be one of our priorities. I have no problem at all with a new recreation center out here. I think that's fully appropriate. When I said most of the people wouldn't support, I wasn't talking about recreation. I was talking about new city government buildings that most people think are not really what they want to see their money thrown at. So my substitute motion is that we direct the staff to come back with recommendations, but that we will prioritize the new recreational center, the acquisition of new land if possible, and improvements to make this area safe, which right now with the road that goes between these two, it needs quite a bit of improvement. And the other thing I would point out is our biggest project out here, the biggest piece of property that we're working on does not belong to us. So that's why I am in support of Kevin's, discussion about trying to acquire another 10 or 12 acres. So the motion is basically the same, directing the staff to come back, but to prioritize the recreational aspect of the study, the acquisition of some land, additional land, and the aspect of the study that said we needed to make this out here safer. So that'll be my substitute, and I'm more than supportive of the new recreational facility out here.
All right, so I have a substitute motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Councilman Braden with the second. Any further discussions? All right, seeing
Yeah,
no- all right.
Yeah, please. I'm sorry. I know you don't want to belabor this, but
Oh, no, hit it home.
I guess when we get, sometimes we muddy the water a little bit. The problem with what you're potentially saying, or maybe there's just confusion, is, well, one, the city owns the land where City Hall is on. Yes, sir. We own that land. So any type of upgrades there, it's the city-owned land. If we're talking about a recreational center there, that demolishes a city hall with offices. So there has to be some sort of, something goes somewhere else if we're going to demolish a building. So I don't want to tie their hands to looking at a recreation center only that wipes out town hall, that you didn't tell them also to go look for town hall offices.
Would not contain that kind of specificity.
Mike?
That's what we're telling them to look at.
Okay. Okay.
Councilman Bagby?
Yeah, just a quick question. So is a skate, in your mind, which would be in this motion, is a skate park a recreational facility?
That's not the one I'm really.
Well, but see, that's the that's,
Okay, let
to
me-
Kevin's point, that's why I like the original motion, is just tell the staff to bring us back, and then we can decide no skate park, or we can do
You're
the.
really killing me on this no skate
No, I
park
know,
thing.
but I think
That's
this
the
is important.
question. Yeah, I would be happy to modify the
The least
motion
expensive part.
to specify recreational community center.
Rodney, okay with this, that modification?
If that'll move us along,
At this point, yeah.
I'm just not, I respect it, I'm not going to support it, just there's too much unclarity for me. I understand it, but I'll move along.
All right, we'll call the motion on the substitute. Ray, you confused? I'm confused.
May I repeat the
Please.
substitute motion?
Yes.
Motion to direct staff to prioritize the governmental center, and, I'm sorry, that was Mr. Bagby's. Motion to direct staff to review the consultant's proposals and identify which components are feasible for implementation, and then you added prioritize the recreational aspects of it.
I would point out the only thing that's not been prioritized in this motion is the new governmental buildings. We're not prohibiting them, we're just not saying they're a priority. And I think that would more align with what the majority of the people in Destin would approve of.
I got a quick, Ray, did you say recreational facilities, or did you say, what did you read that part of the motion again?
Recreational aspects, what I said.
Let's just see where we go, because I have another problem.
All right.
isn't this just information? That's what we're asking? I mean, I don't get it. What are we
Well,
beating this dead horse
I
for?
don't get the substitute motion to.
I mean, we just asked the
because,
staff to
A,
bring us something back we can look at.
Yeah.
And if we act like we're
Well,
fixing
that
to
was
spend
the original
$100
motion,
million
Roger.
on this motion.
That was the original motion. So the thing I don't like, this doesn't prioritize the governmental center over the gateway, which the original motion did. Number two, it's too general in the because can't remember all the recreational facilities. I just remember the one that I really don't like, which is the skateboard part. That's why I like the original motion, but let's just vote. Let's just, I'm with y'all.
And I would just point out, the only difference in this and the original motion is it deprioritizes the governmental buildings.
All right. So now that we're getting deep in the weeds here, I'm not even quite sure why the agenda's set up this way without public input before we're getting into some of these larger issues. So with that, let's call the vote. If we're just coming back with information, I don't think anyone's going to get heartburn over this. And when we have more information, we're going to make sure that the public has input before we get deep into these larger items at a future date. All right, so with that, I'll call the motion on the substitute motion that Councilman Destin has given. We have everything up, or we roll calling? All right, Councilman Councilman Schmidt?
No.
Councilman Bagby? No. Councilman Destin? Yes. No.
Yes.
All right, 2 yeses, 3 nos. We're back to the original motion by Councilman Bagby. Councilman Braden?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, the original motion passes 3-2, and we are moving along. Welcome to government, folks. I'm so glad you get to enjoy this with me. Councilman Larry. Larry, whatever your title is, go.
Whatever I am. One thing real briefly, there was one more request, and that was Roman number 6 under the prioritized strategic goals, which currently reads a green and sustainable environment. It was recommended and asked to bring back that language be changed to promote and protect our natural environment.
And I will make that motion because that was my original direction as legislative sponsor.
All right, I have a motion. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on changing the language?
Without
Seeing
palm
none,
trees.
I'll call the vote. Councilman
Yes.
Braden? Okay, whoever wants to go.
Yes.
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 All right, ayes have it, so
Andy.
moved unanimously.
Can we get him to get Dewey fixed so we don't
Yeah.
have to keep going?
Annie,
doing
can you
this
help
all
Dewey?
night?
All right. Bossman Jones.
You're up to the proclamations, Mr. Mayor.
All right, fair enough. We will see which one I grabbed first. All right, Water Conservation Month, you won. It's like you guys knew. She probably planned this.
Tamara probably.
Absolutely. Dr. T knows best. All right. City of Destin Proclamation, Water Conservation Month. Whereas water is a basic and essential need of every living creature, and whereas the State of Florida Water Management District and Destin Water Users, Inc. are working together in increasing awareness about the importance of water conservation, and whereas the City of Destin and the State of Florida have designated April, typically a dry month when water demands are most acute, Florida's Water Conservation Month, to educate citizens about how they can help save Florida's precious water resource. And whereas the Destin Water Users, Inc. has always encouraged and supported water conservation through various educational programs and special events, whereas every business, industry, school, and citizens can make a difference when it comes to conserving water, and whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can help by saving water and thus promote a healthy economy and community. Whereas outdoor irrigation comprises a large portion of water use, Destin Water Users, Inc. will encourage citizens and businesses to focus on improving outdoor irrigation efficiency. Now, therefore, I, Bobby Wagner, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Destin, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Water Conservation Month. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Anything you guys like to say?
I'll just say very briefly, we'll be doing some water conservation messaging on our new Facebook page. We've been launching new information, so check it out there.
Awesome. They do a great job. They're a partner. For those who don't know, a little educational. They were here before the city was founded. So they're older than us, and a lot of people behind me and probably out in this audience has served on that board. Thank you for your scholarship that you guys do. I actually got a scholarship 12 years ago for college, so thank you. I know they call it a glow up. City of Destin Proclamation, Destin Arbor Day. As someone who is a fellow tree hugger, thank you guys so much for all you guys do on this particular issue. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton passionately proposed the planting of trees as an act of stewardship, leading to the establishment of Arbor Day, a legacy celebration now throughout our nation and around the world. And whereas Arbor Day's inaugural celebration inspired the planting of more than 1 million trees, initiating a global movement that continues to grow, transform, and equip our environment and communities together. Whereas trees are vital guardians of our environment, reducing soil erosion, moderating temperatures, cleanliness of the air we breathe, and producing life-giving oxygen, they provide essential habitats for countless wildlife species, supporting biodiversity and economical balance. Whereas trees in Destin significantly enhance our quality of life by increasing property values, strengthening the economic vitality of our community's area, and beautifying our neighborhoods, they offer shade, tranquility, and a connection to nature that rejuvenates our spirits and uplifts our community. Good writing. Whereas while palm trees are iconic and foreign for our coastal communities, they are not a tree. They're actually grass. I'm winging this now. They're classified as grasses and provide limited environmental benefit, such as reduced shade, minimal oxygen production, and limited habitat value. Our business owners and builders that we love dearly like to use trees as an easy, quick way to get their tree count, even though we don't want them to. Thanks to this council, we are going to do something about it, yada, yada, yada. Whereas our commitment to planting and preserving true trees today will ensure a healthier and more sustainable Destin for generations to come, creating a legacy of environmental stewardship and community pride. Now, therefore, I, Bobby Wagner, Mayor of Destin, of the City of Destin, on behalf of Destin City Council, passionately proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in Destin, Florida. Thank you guys so much for being up here. A little bit of a riff there. You got the stickers, or did someone grab the stickers? I have a sticker. You got it? Oh, cool. Oh, I just wanted to see the 23.
Yeah, oh, very good.
You want to hold the 23 there? Awesome. And so, yeah, do you want to?
Just real quick, related to the proclamation, we have an Arbor Day ceremony on Friday, April 24th at 10 a.m. at Buck Destin Park. So we hope you join us. We will be planting a tree there to keep our Tree City USA status. It's been 23 years. We're looking to get the 24th year, and we'll have some goodies for any kids that are able to attend. So hope to see you there. Also, let me flip my paper. We will have Pooch Palooza this Saturday, April 11th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at the Annex parking lot. We'll have food trucks, vendors, raffles, free dog nail trims, and our Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department K9 and Hound will be there. So this is an event that benefits the dog park. We hope to see you all there as well. And we're honored to receive this proclamation. So thank you very much.
All right. All right, last one. All right. Thank you for hanging in there with me. To be completely transparent, in school, I was deathly afraid of getting called on to read in public. So, just no way but just barreling in there and conquering your fears, doing it in front of everyone. So I appreciate everyone on that. All right, City of Destin proclamation, Child Abuse Prevention Month. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Thank you, Brian. Absolutely. All right, Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas in April, we take time to raise awareness and strengthen our community's commitment to protecting children and supporting families. And whereas every child deserves a safe, stable, and nurturing environment in which to grow and thrive. Whereas preventing child abuse and neglect requires the collective effort of families, educators, organizations, and community members. And whereas raising awareness and supporting prevention efforts can help protect children and strengthen families. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Bobby Wagner, on behalf of the City of Destin Council, do hereby proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Destin, Florida, and encourage all residents to work together to ensure every child has a safe and healthy childhood. Thank you guys so much for being here. Yes. And then you'd like to say something? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to thank the city for doing the proclamation for us. My name is Julie Porterfield, and I've been with the center for almost 27 years now. And we just keep fighting the fight for kids because, at the end of the day, my goal has always been to hang the Closed for Business sign at both of our centers because all children deserve to live free of abuse and neglect. And I think together as a community, as individuals, we can, report child abuse, and we can also do our part to protect children in our community because they are our future. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And thank you for your decades of service. It's amazing. All right. I don't care if we stay to midnight now. That's what I was fearful of, is doing all those proclamations. All right, there we go. Presentation, rapid flashing beacon potential placement. I think I know who's that. Sir.
Jim Wood, 3790 Misty Way, Destin, Florida. I rise tonight as your chairman of your Public Works and Public Safety Committee with two more in a series of rapid flashing beacon pedestrian crosses we've been putting across town. Your two tonight are both on major collectors, according to the LDC. They're both mid-block crossings, and they're both being paid for by my committee funds. The first one is on Beach Drive. It's a southeast corner of the school property. There's a crosswalk on Beach there. I have personally been over there about 6 times to watch that crosswalk over the last couple of years. Putting a rapid flashing beacon there will definitely be an improvement. There are lots of folks that cross, pedestrians, bicycles, kids, parents, 2 parents. A lot goes on in that area there. There's some other things we'd like to do there as a safety committee, but that's a conversation for another day. The other crossing is on Matthew Boulevard, across from Village Baptist Church at a mid-block crossing there. A lot of folks on Sundays park on the other side of the road in a parking lot there and come across. A lot of vehicles going northbound on Matthew will try to race up to the green light, not always watching what's going on around them. So the flashing beacon will give those folks crossing there another added layer of protection. Again, those are both being paid for by my committee, and that'll give us about 15 or 16 around town now, I think. So I appreciate y'all's approval, and we'll keep on doing them.
All right, with that, Councilman Bagby.
Mayor, I move the City Council approve the Public Works and Public Safety Committee's recommendations for and direct the city manager to place the rapid flashing beacons at the existing mid-block crosswalks on Beach Drive near Sandpiper Circle and at 101 Matthews Boulevard. It would be funded by Public Works and Public Safety Committee's discretionary funds.
Second.
I got a second. My only discussion is, especially for the Sandpiper Circle on Beach, I think that's just super cool because I think I remember an email coming to me asking for that and like, hey, I see all these kids, and then I handed it off to you, not to hand it off, but knowing that you're the guy. And so that's just super cool seeing it full circle. So I appreciate all your time on that. That's amazing.
And I would like to just add, I did meet with some county school officials last week and got a briefing on the new circulation plan for the elementary school. It's going to be quite an improvement.
Awesome.
So it's going to be really good.
Thank you, sir. All right, seeing no other discussions, we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you, sir. All right, short-term rental ordinance. Is that an announcement? Oh, present. No, there we go. Oh. I was like, Julie's with the center. Who's speaking? Hey, no worries. It's my fault. I've been out of the pipeline here.
Hi, I'm Robert.
Just push that gray button there. Yep.
I'm Robert Clifford. I live in Destin on 74 Barracuda. I appreciate the council persons and the mayor having me here. And I wondered if it would be okay if I took 7 minutes.
Yeah, I remember us talking.
7 minutes, 33 seconds.
Yes, I know since you're speaking on behalf of a group, just kind of make it brief, but you'll get a little bit more allotted time.
Okay, I'm just going to read here. I'm here tonight on behalf of the owner, occupants, and families of Crystal Beach, many of whom are here tonight as part of the Crystal Beach Neighborhood Coalition. We came to you in October warning about oversized hotel-like short-term rentals being pushed into our neighborhood. Today, those concerns are no longer theoretical, they're a reality, and they're worse than we had feared. We now have monster house short-term rentals that exceed approved construction limits both before and after occupancy, violate occupancy, parking, and bedroom restrictions, advertise those capacities beyond what is allowed, and promote events that are explicitly prohibited. And the result, the neighborhood's being destabilized, residents are being bullied with retaliatory complaints, and the character of Crystal Beach is beginning to erode. And let's be clear, this is not confusion, this is patterned, deliberate noncompliance. Meanwhile, the city's response, I feel, has fallen short. Plans that clearly stretched credibility and logic have been approved. I can only assume that the staff was pushed beyond their comfort, and they did not have enough support in objecting to plans. Post-occupancy violations are not adequately investigated, and the advertising alone should have triggered this. Citations and fines appear to be minimal or non-existent, and after-hours code enforcement is effectively unavailable. We're just left with a phone number to call at the police station where you leave a recording, and we never hear anything back. So what message is this sending? It tells bad actors that the rules are optional. It tells neighbors and citizens that they're on their own. And it tells every developer that's watching, build the same and we'll let it happen. And this is how one bad project becomes 10. Now, we all know that Florida law limits the restrictions you can place on short-term rentals. But other jurisdictions, Panama City Beach, Naples, Miami Beach, Orlando, they've had success with limitations, and they've gained extensive control over the expansion by using methods that are exclusively within the city's control. These always involve parking, licensing, inspections, penalties and citations, and above all, enforcement. And I just wondered if we could just take a look at a couple of examples. Do we have slides here? I don't know if these pictures will come up. That's great. If not, it's a short talk. Okay, so this is just a picture out of an ad from one of these recent big houses. First thing you see there, Sleeps 36. We know the limits in Destin are 24. Next slide. Here's a sign in front of that house the same day. Occupancy, 24. So that's an ad, the exact same day, the sign says 24. Parking also said 11 and 10, but I'll get to that. Okay, next slide. Another of the houses, and when you look at that, 11 bedrooms, Sleeps 36. That's in the advertisement. Okay, next please. This is the parking plan for those houses. We've always had about an 8-car limit in Destin, but they wanted 10 because 10 gives them 10 bedrooms, right? So they pushed this through. And I don't think anyone here thinks that anyone's going to park like that. I mean, I wouldn't know how to park like that, but by city rules, you have to park by the plan, and that's the approved plan. You got the next slide? That's a similar one. You can shrink it down. Almost the same thing at another one of those houses. Next slide. This is the city's basis. Tandem, 2 only. Everyone has to be able to get out. That last slide, I don't care what was said, it doesn't meet this, just at the basis, okay? Next slide. Here's a part of the ad that says, free driveway parking, 13 spaces. That's the same house that had the sign out front that said 10. Next slide. This is the parking lot in front of that house, a 60 by 80 piece of concrete. I'm from Texas, driving my F-250. I'm just going to drive up, park, 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 park. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do all this fancy stuff. Next slide. Here's the house, the first group that was there. On the right, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row, plus an extra. Next slide. On the left, you can count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There were 12 cars in there, and an hour later, there were 14. 4 in a row, 4 in a row, 3 in a row, 3 in a row, just like we said. And also look at the gap between those cars. I hope there's not a fire. Okay, next slide. Here's the ad, another ad, just we're going over bedrooms. There's 11 bedrooms advertised. And the next slide. That's a picture of a city code, and this is what that says. Advertising for more than the allowable occupancy or allowable parking is prima facie evidence of a violation of city code. And I'm holding here the STR affidavit of bedrooms and parking places that every owner and every manager has to sign declaring their bedrooms and their parking places. And it says at the bottom, should any information on this form be found to be inaccurate or incomplete, any STR registration status authorized will be revoked. This isn't confusion, it's patterned, deliberate noncompliance. I'll show you one more slide since we've got a couple seconds here, or maybe a couple more. The next slide. Or maybe not. This is the original building plan for one of those houses. If you'll notice, the room there says game room, but they made a mistake and put 3 king beds in there. And of course, there's no door, so that makes it a game room, not a bedroom. And here's the next slide. Here's their advertisement, and that's the same room in their ad, and it shows a door. I don't know if it's been added or not, but it's in the ad. And the next slide, this is just for reason. Both of these houses that I'm talking about, there's others too, they have a permit for a fire pit on the roof. And they put a fire pit on the roof, and it's all fine, it's permitted, it's been inspected, the whole routine. But at 10 o'clock at night, there's a fire on top of the roof, 6 feet tall, not a single person up there monitoring it. And me, being a neighbor down the street, I don't really want a 6-foot-tall fire 40 feet above the ground in 30-mile-an-hour winds blowing their cocktail napkins through the flames onto my roof. This just doesn't make sense to me. Okay, thanks, I appreciate that. We are asking you to act decisively and immediately. The first thing we'd like you to consider is reducing parking limits on new construction as a hard constraint to control occupancy and scale, and change the parking rules so that they are reasonable. The second is to instruct city staff to scrutinize building plans for realism, not just technical compliance, and support the staff so that they can say no. We shouldn't approve a parking lot and expect people to park in it valet style. Also, we should revoke STR permits and manager licenses for violators. This should be automatic. Revocation is already agreed upon at the time of their application. A violation should bring a revocation. And we need to work on code compliance enforcement. Really the most important thing. Let's make code compliance active, not passive. Right now, something has to happen before code compliance gets kicked in. I think we should respond to complaints rapidly. Within an hour is what I'd like. I know that's not always the case. And I'd like all those reports to go back and follow up to whoever made a complaint or whoever was looking for something. I think that there should be one warning per property per year. One of those properties, if you took a daily advertisement that had parking, occupancy in there, and beds, that's 3 violations a day. For 90 days, that's 270 violations. What are we doing? Okay? 1 per year, and then after that, there should be a citation every time, and every citation should be a fine. That's already the rules that we have. 1 or 2 or 3 violations a year should trigger an STR permit revocation. And that revocation should be gone until the items are satisfied. We need to put the burden on the business and the corporation, not on the citizens. And we should require correction of false advertising and retro disclosure. These houses are rented into 2027. All of those people that have signed contracts had false advertising. They've all been told the wrong thing. The short-term permit should be pulled, and that person should have to document that they've contacted everyone they've contracted to stay there and let them know the appropriate rules and that they agree to the appropriate rules, or those kids are all going to show up with 36 people, and we're just going to have to be calling in every 10 minutes to get that stuff sorted out. This is not about stopping tourism. We live in Crystal Beach. We understand it's an STR position. It's about preserving livable neighborhoods and fair enforcement of rules, many of which we already have in place. Right now, the burden has been shifted to the residents to monitor, report, and endure. It's not sustainable, and it's not equitable. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Thanks for the due diligence on that. All right. All right, public comments. What?
I want to give the city manager a chance to respond to Mr. Cherry's comments.
All right.
Before going too deep in a response, what I'd like to do is set up a meeting with Mr. Clifford and just let's sit down with our staff and let's get make sure we have a clear understanding of the issues. I know some of those we have addressed, some of them we are addressing, but we'd be more than happy to facilitate that time and bring back a report, hopefully together. So that's acceptable. Be more than happy to do that.
Okay. All right, thank you for that.
Yeah, well, I hear you. And we had a meeting with Mr. Clifford and his wife and I think about 8 others from the neighborhood. So what I prefer, I want y'all to have the meeting, but I want you to come back with what we need to do to fix this, because I thought we fixed part of it. We fixed the exterior stairwell and some of the other issues that we had, or they had when we met initially. But now it's behaviors and the actual rental of the properties, not the constructions of the properties, because it's not just these 2 houses. There's another one I think that's planned, and it's, you know, I live in Crystal Beach, and I have the same, I have 4 or 5 rental houses surrounding me on the 9 that, you know, but I don't have a problem because they know I have the sheriff's personal phone number, and I think there's a note in each one of those houses, don't make any noise after 10 p.m. or the guy next door will call, okay? And we have security in our neighborhood. But I want us to have a plan going forward to basically stop this behavior, because now we're kind of in that soft period. We've got about 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and then it's just going to ramp back up. And I just want us to have a plan to address it when it comes back summertime. Thanks.
Yep, I agree. Councilman?
I'll put that in motion form, if you can bring us that report.
All right.
I'll second.
At the next meeting.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure I'd give them to me, just
You want-
because, well, not all these people are here full-time, you know, most of them are, but their schedule may not align with Larry's schedule, so I just.
First meeting in May?
First meeting in May, thank you, because I want it done before summertime, before Memorial Day.
Yeah, okay, so that's a motion.
Second.
Yeah. All right, motion second, Councilman Schmidt.
Yeah, just the obvious things, though. Do we have code violations in place with advertising and illegal
They have been,
occupancy?
they have been issued notice of violation on.
So they have, that has been happening?
Yes.
Okay.
Kim, I know we normally with code have to give a warning first. With those affidavits, do we skip that process? I thought he was saying, you know, if this isn't true or you start advertising things above and beyond the limits, you're already acknowledging proof? You can ask Chris, yeah, what he brought up was those affidavits, kind of, you know, you're going to do something that's right against the line, you're maximizing something, so we can make them sign this affidavit saying, here's your maximums, and now to their point, we are now seeing their maximums completely overachieved on advertisement. Does that still require a warning, or do we go straight to fines and citations?
So as soon as we heard about the advertisement, they were contacted, notice of violation was sent out. Those were immediately corrected on the advertisements we saw. As of 5 o'clock today, I looked on VRBO and Airbnb, and they were all corrected to the proper things. And we also informed them of any sites that they're advertising on that we're not aware of. They have to be corrected as well, as far as we know they were.
All right, so it's a whack-a-mole game.
Essentially, it could be.
Okay. But we've now warned them, even though I
Correct.
think the affidavit is where I was getting at, is their warning is they've signed off their warning to an affidavit.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right, we have a motion on the floor. I'll call the vote. If we can get the screen back up, please, sir. All right, thank you. 5-0, so moved. All right, public comments. Yes, sir. We'll take on the right side, my right, y'all's left, and we'll go over. I just need your name and address, and the floor is yours for 3 minutes.
No worries. My name's Jason Frazier. I live in 311 17th Street in Niceville, so I'm not actually a resident of Destin, but most of you will know the name of my company. It's Shiloh Construction. I do a lot of building in Crystal Beach, and I have for a lot of years. So my position on this might strike you as odd, but I'm actually here on behalf of those same owners of Crystal Beach, because as a builder in Destin, I spent a lot of years working with staff on helping figure out some of those codes, make sure everything was lining up with what we were doing. We spent a lot of time making sure that we were always in compliance with staff as much as possible. It's troubling then when someone blows in and starts doing a lot of stuff that I wouldn't even dream of trying to get away with in a construction application permit within the city of Destin, especially in Crystal Beach, and to watch those houses just, you know, go up. And the distressing part is, for years, I felt like I've towed the line of telling my investor clients, you know, no, we can't do that. Look, this is, you know, Mr. Clifford spoke about the 8 parking spaces in the city, in Crystal Beach. I actually originally developed that with Tracy Goodhart 5 or 6 years ago. So that was just, and we all decided then, that's it. No, you know, when you're talking about 50 by 150 lots, there's only so much you can do and still maintain, you know, a good neighborhood feel. So for us specifically, like I said, here on behalf of the same owners of Crystal Beach, but also just on behalf of ourselves, our reputation a bit, you know, we want to be good neighbors within the city. And we've made, you know, a lot of great contacts here. We've done a lot of great business here, and we hope to continue to do a lot of great business here. But obviously for us, you know, we have to both respect the municipality that we're working in, but also bring as much value to our clients as we can. So we want to have these battles on behalf of the city and its regulations. You know, that's what our job is, to kind of hold that line. But it makes it very difficult, you know, to stand before a client on their property and they're watching this go up and I'm telling them, no, I can't do that. I literally could not bring that and get it approved. maybe I could if I fought hard enough, but that's just not my nature. I try to be amenable to what the city's looking for. So just as a, again, not a resident of Destin, but someone who's been here and tried to, you know, contribute to the community and all those things, it's just worrisome to kind of see that trend happen. I'm not saying that it was done on purpose, and I'm not saying that it's going to continue past this point, but I did feel the need to sort of speak to that side of it as well.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Yes, ma'am. Hit that gray button. There you go. Name and address.
My name is Cherry Clifford. I'm a resident of Crystal Beach. I live at 74 Barracuda Street. We love our neighborhood. We don't want to see it fall apart. We're not against STRs. We just need some help from you. We did come to you last October. You guys arranged a meeting with several of us. Not one thing happened. Not one thing. Except another monster house showed up with excessive violations. So we're asking again for you guys to do something for us. I want to particularly talk about that parking issue. Could we get maybe that slide that had the photograph of the parking, the cars parked?
Could you do it by memory? I'm sorry. Just
Okay,
keep
sure,
going.
sure.
Yeah.
My issue is dealing with safety, because if we have that many cars parked 3, 4 in tandem, if there's an emergency, an EMS truck can't get a stretcher. They can't get a stretcher in there. Those cars were packed like sardines. So if somebody falls off that 3rd-story balcony or gets burned up there or that fire pit, or somebody has a heart attack, there's no way to get to them. Or you can get to them, but you can't get it back out. If there's a fire, that house is a stucco house, but there's still lots of wood in it. Every house around both of those houses are wood houses with lots of foliage and things that catch fire if, like Bob says, a cocktail napkin happens to drift through with a 40-mile-an-hour wind. The fire trucks can get water to the house, but they can't set up a ladder because they can't get through those cars. So you guys can just see how that's, you know, that's a problem for us. Part of the problem also is that these homes that are being built, these massive homes, we have over 55 in our neighborhood today that are what I'd call party houses. Think about that a minute. That's a lot of houses. Yet the homeowners that live here full-time and those that just own second-time homes, meaning they may not be here all the time, but they don't rent their houses, amount to about 30 to 40% of that entire plat of Crystal Beach. That's not the majority, but that's too large a percentage to be ignored. So we're just really wanting to state that we formed a coalition, we're informed, we're committed, we're organized, and we're not going to go away. We're just going to keep coming back till we get some results from the city. The problem with the housing and how this is driven is that it's driven by corporations. We used to have a few little LLCs that wanted to come in and build a house. They wanted to do a 1031 exchange or something like that. Now we have out-of-state corporations coming in, and they're operating with a corporate mindset. By the city's own admission on several occasions, these are referred to as mini hotels, not simply residences that can be used as STRs. They don't really meet our residential zoning, but they're allowed anyway. So.
All right. Final thoughts. I don't have my timer up anymore, so I think you got a little bit more. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
All right.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your time. Okay.
Right. Yep. Go. Yeah.
All righty.
All right. You're already on, so floors. Oh, hit it again. No, it was already on for you. There you go. Yes, sir.
All right, Ricky Lynn Grant Jr., 175 Main Street, Destin, Florida, 32541, United States Postal Service, general delivery. And I would like to make a public comment because legally speaking, I'm still going through the trespass acquisitions at the library with the librarian. And I hope everything works out with the librarian. I try to, you know, give that its proper space until my trespass charge is up at the end of May. I think you got to stay away from the library for a year. So I'm not used to the post-COVID-19 kind of legal atmosphere. Everybody's civil with me. But, you know, I'm not used to people saying, stop looking at me. But, yeah, I did 25 years as a Christian. And, you know, it was black and white. Now, all of a sudden, it's kind of a gray area. But that's why I got my license as a real estate agent, and I try to just, you know, stay in the book. I'm trying to get a broker and then go back to school for law. So in case somebody, you know, they got disagreements, I'm gonna give you a subpoena. I looked it up on .gov, $450 for a subpoena. Next time somebody wanna approach me with a disagreement, I'm gonna give you a $450 subpoena and you can take it up with the judge. That's how I believe we need to handle disputes out there, because there's a lot of gray area going around, and I got a college education. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I'll get the proper prosecution. If people want to take it to a disagreement, we need to get the judge involved, we need to get the DA involved, and I think that's how we should handle it. But yeah, that's the civil. I try to just, you know, the Justice Department, and that's how I try to live out my, because I'm an entrepreneur, you know, it's a wild, wild west. It ain't black and white, it's a wild, wild west. And that's not something I'm used to. 25 years, black and white. We don't need you, go find another job. Now, people pay me, they give me a paycheck on Friday, go do your taxes. Oh, okay. I'll just get on TurboTax and everybody be all happy. Well, anyway, this is what it is. I'm willing to work it. I'm willing to keep it moving forward until it's done and we can all just retire at home. And I'll try to build a park at home, maybe some trees and fountains and statues. 3 different houses, the farm, the beach house, and then the FHA, I guess, fishing house. But it's a lot of work, but I'm gonna just stay in the book from 9 to 5 and, you know, abide with Uncle Sam.
Appreciate you, Ricky.
Yes, sir.
Hey, good evening. Joe Fitzpatrick, 3879 Indian Trail. I have 2 items I just want to touch base on this evening. First, regarding the March 2nd City Council meeting minutes. They are up for approval this evening. After that, at that meeting, there was question asked that are in the meeting minutes regarding potential discrepancies with regards to purchase price, parcel, you know, basically the acquisition of the property I put out there. I did follow up within 48 hours with some additional supporting documentation. At this time, I don't believe there's any additional discrepancies. You know, I think I provided the detail necessary to answer the questions. If there are questions that council has, you know, I'm more than happy to answer and follow up with information. But from my side, I believe that issue to be closed. But if there are any questions, more than happy to facilitate. Secondly, with regards to the current status, my understanding for a path forward. Since the last council meeting 3 weeks ago, I've had the opportunity to have a conversation with Ms. Kopp, Mr. Baumann, as relates to the potential path forward. I was recently provided with an initial draft of an easement agreement, which would allow the city to study the area in potential stabilization efforts. That easement did require me to waive past and future rights with regards to the situation. In response, I've provided a red line version that I believe reasonably protects both parties and allows us to move forward without delay. So to be clear, you know, I'm willing to grant temporary access to be able to understand what the issue is out there. The adjacent property parcel owner has also indicated a willingness to work and move forward with this. So, you know, it's a bit premature to ask for me to require to waive or release rights. And so, you know, I don't believe we lack any data. Mr. Bagby, you made a comment with regards to studies, and we run through studies, et cetera. You know, I provided hundreds of pages of documentation. I could provide 500 pages more with regards to aerial, LiDAR, additional data. I think at this time, through the amount of money that's been spent with the 2004 Stormwater Master Plan, 2024 or 22, basins are outlined, sub-basins, contributing areas. The MS4 and stormwater outfall documentation is documented. FEMA documentation clearly outlines this area with the 2021 updates. And most recently, the vulnerability assessment that was put out last year clearly identifies this area. So we're more than 3 months into this review. As I've said before, this condition is not static. It's active and continuing to worsen. So at this point, this evening, I would just ask for, a quick comment at some point from the city attorney to clarify for both myself and council where we stand based upon the position as I understand it and what she believes the next steps are and how we move forward from here. I continue to be here in good faith, and I appreciate the time and consideration. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Sir, I have a question for you. I went out there the other day after we spoke after that meeting. That for sale sign, is that on your property or the neighbors?
That's on the lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, so I own the
If you can just get back to the, just for we can record it. Yep, thank you, sir.
There's 2 parcels. So my primary residence is 3879. And then there's a second parcel, which is the issue that we're discussing here, is owned by me as well. And so the parcel is for sale, the lot.
So your house was on the right-hand side of that?
You're coming down Indian Trail, I'm on the.
Yeah, you're on the left, but it's on the right of that?
I'm on the left.
Where the water goes?
Lot's on the right.
And the lot's on the left?
No, lot's on the right, house
Oh,
on
the
the
lot's
left.
on the right, too?
It's where the culvert goes through.
Yeah. Oh, so you got a lot, house, and then the water, and then there's a neighbor?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here. All right, anyone else?
John Stevens, 4025 Indian Trail. I just want to thank council for what y'all been doing in the Harbor District lately. Past couple years, it's awesome seeing the Sheriff's Department roam the harbor every day. This year, now we're seeing code compliance every day roaming the harbor. I've actually seen more code compliance officers on the harbor the past month than I've seen in the past 20 years. So I just want to thank council and our code compliance manager for that. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, John. Yeah. Oh. Yes, sir. Now we need to double that over in Crystal Beach. There you go. Name and address. The floor is yours.
Hey. Good evening. I'm Robert Murr, 4532 John Avenue. I'm both a Crystal Beach resident and a local property manager, so sorry we're going back to Crystal Beach here again, but I want to start by saying that I'm not against short-term rentals. I hope y'all aren't as well. This is my business, but I do believe that in operating responsibly, that I'm operating responsibly and within the local requirements. I take a great deal of pride in running a small, reputable, and compliant business with mainly 3 to 4 bedroom homes. We strictly follow all of the city's regulations because our business license, our reputation, and our community relationships truly matter to us. All I'm asking is that the same standards be applied consistently across the board. When everybody plays by the same rules, it protects the integrity of our neighborhood. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for the perspective. All right, anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public comments. Thank you for that, Dr. T. Turn my notes back around. All right, consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
The motion is second. Any further discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it unanimously so moved. City manager report. Dr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Item 4A comes through our Community Development Department regarding mobility fees. If you recall, over past few meetings, AMVETS came and was changing a use for a property they were renovating. We worked with them with some parking issues, and it's been kind of a journey, but we've gotten there. But part of that development requires a mobility fee of $40,102.73 because of the change of use, and that is clearly spelled out in our Land Development Code. They are coming before you tonight to ask you to consider either waiving all or a portion of that fee. So I know there's some representatives from
Yes, sir, if you want to take the floor.
here. And,
Thank you for having me. My name is Dan Dempsey. I'm the manager of AMVETS. I'm here representing the property at 150 Azalea Drive. I also have a dozen other members with me today in support. AMVETS is a nonprofit serving the Destin area veterans since 1993. The purpose of this request is we are requesting an exemption of the $40,102 mobility fee permit. This project adds no new square footage. It is strictly a renovation of the existing structure. Financial hardship, the organization has already absorbed substantial unforeseen costs, parking compliance, change of use requirements, updated fire compliance, fire code compliance. These expenses have significantly strained our project, and this fee could potentially halt some of our project completion. The community impact, AMVETS, we lost our previous location on Benning Drive. We've been struggling for a while to find a permanent home. We've always been renting. This property in 150 Azalea we purchased, so this will be a place for us forever to support local veterans, and we also can contribute to the city and the community. We've been doing all these events for over 30 years. The facility will provide stability and continue serving veterans in need. Our community support, we have several subcontractors that are contributing. We have Headway Construction, which is donating significant portions of their services. This is truly a community-backed effort. The past 3 years that I've been manager, we have already donated over $30,000 to local charities, schools, churches, the Christmas parade, et cetera, in Destin. In closing, to make it short, because this remodel does not increase building size or infrastructure demand, we respectfully ask, can the fee be waived, or can it be reduced under a nonprofit or hardship consideration process? We are simply asking for a partnership in helping our veterans secure a permanent home.
All right, thank you for being here, and thank you all for being here as well. Councilman Braden?
Thank you, Mayor. I have my shop is right behind this place. I mean, right behind it. Been there for several years. And I don't believe that the impact that they're gonna put on this building that they bought is gonna be any more parking. If anything, it's gonna be less vehicles parked there than what's been there in the last several years that I've been renting behind them. I think it's a great organization. So I'd like to make a motion to reduce their impact fees to $1.
All right, I have a motion for $1 on the floor. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Councilman Destin with the second. Councilman Bagby, discussion?
Yeah, they do good work, and they are a great organization, and I've got several friends and even one homeboy from East Texas in there. But I'm also aware that the mobility fee that we put in place serves a purpose, is to help us maintain the roads through this community and improve the roads in this community. And it's basically a user fee, or a future user fee, I guess. And one of the roads that it's going to help the most, once we get the crosstown connector in, is Azalea. So the other problem I have with the $1, I'll just be honest with you, is that, it never ceases to amaze me. We will put a rule in place, and then the first time we actually apply the rule, we want to get rid of the rule. And then we set a precedent for not enforcing the rules, and then everybody gets upset that we don't have any money, or we're not enforcing the rules, or we're not doing something because we let somebody off. So I will make a substitute motion that we reduce their fee by 50%. I think that's fair. It's not the full $40,000, but it's not $1. I can't support a $1 fee because I do think that there will be traffic there. And I acknowledge that they did do some improvements to the parking area and everything, but if we set the fee at $1, my fear is every well-meaning and well-performing organization in this community, to include residents, or not residents, other commercial entities, semi-commercial entities, will be here, and we will spend all our time arguing about whether it's $1 or $100 or 50. So I would just make a substitute motion that we reduce their fee by 50%.
All right, I have a substitute motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, I have a second. Further discussion on either motion or discussion on the floor?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
It says that they paid it already. Yeah. Why was it paid and now you're wanting your money back?
Yeah, they were anxious to get started, and before we could issue a permit, the fees either had to be paid or some action by the council, so they decided to go ahead and pay. And
Why didn't the request come earlier to waive it? Isn't that what the write-up says? The waiver request has to be done beforehand?
Yeah. If someone wants to come up here and kind of answer.
I'm just reading on the agenda, on the staff report. It says 1904-11. Must be made no later than the time of application for a building permit. Where does that come from?
I'll ask Noel or Tina, is that from Land Development Code regarding the waiver request?
I'm just
Let's
reading
check on
in the
it.
staff
Yeah.
packet, 1904-11. Page 1 of your staff packet.
What the Land Development Code says in section 1904-11 is any claim of exemption must be made no later than the time of application for a building permit.
Right, so I guess my question was, did they apply for the exemption when they applied for a permit?
They were.
Can somebody that's like maybe a
Yeah.
lawyer or somebody answer, how do you explain letter A in legal terms and what's being done here?
Well, they didn't provide a letter for the exemption.
So is this saying that they
At
should
time
have
of-
been?
At time of permit.
Yeah. So where are you guys at with the?
I'm David Wood, I'm Headway. I'm the GC for the project. I filed the application for the permit. Until the permit is actually issued, you're applying for a permit. So any time in that process, till the permit is actually issued, you're applying. So before that permit was issued, we respectfully requested the exemption. So to answer your question, they wanted to go ahead and try to move forward with the project because they would not issue a permit without the fees being paid for.
Did you get a permit?
Yes, we have a permit.
And you applied for the fee exemption before they
Before the
gave you the
permit was
permit?
issued, yes.
When was that?
The permit was, I believe we paid the application on a Thursday and they paid for it on a Friday.
Like last week?
Yes.
Oh, just recently?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That way the
Just trying to
project can move
understand all
forward.
the details here, just kind of a little mystery. But
Yeah,
Thank you.
that way the project can move forward because it's already been significantly delayed. It's 3 months behind schedule as it is.
We're already making potential exemptions and exceptions. I'm just trying to make sure that the entire thing was followed correctly from the beginning.
And to
make
point
sure
out,
before we
this
do
is
that.
already an existing business in Destin. They're just moving locations.
Right.
So technically, there's not really an impact on infrastructure for Destin. It's not a new business coming in. It's already an existing business.
And on that point, what was there beforehand?
It was a consultant firm.
Consultant, okay.
Engineering
okay.
firm.
Okay. Councilwoman Trammell? Yep, you sure can. Councilman Braden? Councilman Braden?
No, I just want to tell you my thought process on that is we've given, who is the property on Airport Road we own that does the backpacks?
Food for thought.
Food for thought. We rented that building, what was it, $1 a year, $1 a month for I don't know how many years. Now they don't pay anything, I believe. And I just, like I said, they're just moved from one building to another and we're going to charge them $40,000 and now we're talking about $20,000 impact fees. I don't know what they're impacting. And I mean, we have people that have a code violation that I mean, we're foreclosing on people's property, but we have code violations that were, in hundreds of thousands of dollars that they actually violated our codes and was wrong in every way. Staff did all their jobs correct, And what council do? Just erase just about all of it. But here we want to charge these people, and I get it. You know, we go through these processes and, you know, collect these fees, but I don't know how you justify a $40,000 impact fee for somebody that buys a building just moving their business around the corner. This business, I mean, it's a nonprofit?
Yeah, the Danvets are a nonprofit. Headway is donating a portion of ours
It's
to
nonprofit.
keep the bills down for them so that
And
they
he
can
just
make
said
this
they give
project.
$30,000 back to the community. So, I don't know, we're gonna do it for one and not the other? And we've already, according to staff, I believe it was, told me earlier, we've already reduced impact fees for other people, so we're not setting a precedent on this one. It's been done in the past. You know, I just want to tell you what my thinking was on it.
Councilman Destin.
If I recall, as we adopted this a year or so ago.
Yeah, a little less, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever.
I was accosted at the Christmas parade over it, as you recall.
Yes.
I thought there was sections of it that said, as Mr. Braden alludes, that if it's not new and if it's just moving one function to another area, that there was a credit or there was some kind of relief. Because I know I was trying to do some figuring on what it would cost to put a new business in Destin now with this mobility fee. It appears it's probably in excess of $200,000 if it's any kind of business at all. And so I would predict we're going to see a lot of these coming down the road. And in my opinion, the mobility fee structure needs to be looked at. I'm sure we'll get to it in a little bit after we've got enough of these complaints. But as Mr. Braden said, they're moving. It was on one part of town, now it's moved half a mile or so. So I would think they should be in receipt of credit for where they were before, because it's not a new burden on the transportation of the city, so.
Yep, and I'll, hopefully, if we get into later, because I know it's always good intention for one, and then the next comes in that maybe not good intention, but if we follow one way, we got to follow the other. So hopefully, I'll try to help potentially future legal battles. I believe the impact and the density that they're bringing to this parcel that's already built, I think that's the kind of the key part. I know we're in a big redevelopment area, but yeah, I'd be siding with Councilman Braden and coming to the natural assumption that what was there and what you guys are creating doesn't increase the impact or increase the density of that parcel. So, I mean, any major reduction, I believe, is valid, but I just get a voice and not a vote. But that's kind of where my thought process would be, is if you're building a brand new building, you'll really be setting a bad starting precedence. But in this case, I definitely see where it would make sense to give some kind of leeway. Councilman Bagby.
Is there a provision for a credit for an existing business that moves for the mobility fee?
Not currently. So what you have, obviously, mobility fees are charged to mitigate impacts from a proposed development, right? Where there is a change of use with building alterations, they are required to pay the mobility fee. That's why they were charged. What staff did was find the closest use to what they're proposing, which is the Veterans Organization. So they compared it to a church. There's a religious aspect to this entity. And the church has, compared to most of our mobility fees, they're pretty low in comparison to others.
It's like 11,000 something dollars per 1,000 square foot.
That's correct. That's exactly right. So that's what they were charged, and then based on their square footage, it came out to the 40,000. They didn't technically meet that criteria. If council thinks that the criteria is too strict, then we should modify our ordinance. But that is why staff did not have the authority to modify the fee.
Well, I'm confused. So the church, if they were just a church, it would be like $10,000 or $11,000.
No,
Per?
11,000 per
No.
1,000 square foot. So if a
11,000
building's
per
4,000
1,000
square foot, it'd be
Okay.
44,000. Some
Okay,
change.
so because of the size, because I think a consulting firm was there before, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the impact on the streets and roads a lot larger with the AMVets than with the consulting. You know, where you do have clients come in occasionally or whatever, but I get that there's a greater impact. But I agree that we probably ought to look at a credit for an existing business that wants to move, because they're moving, I won't say the problem, they're moving the load from area A to area B, but the city's load doesn't increase. Now, if they are more intensive than what was there, yes, that use did increase, and so there should be some charge. I'm not saying it should be free, but there should be a credit. But you're right, we need to relook that. So I will amend my substitute motion to make it $12,000 as opposed to 50%, because I won't go to zero and I won't go to $1. I'll just be honest, I may be by myself up here, but we keep making rules, and one of the biggest complaints about this city is, you know, we don't enforce our rules, whether it be short-term rentals or parking fees or mobility fees or whatever. And so I'm very sensitive to that, I guess. Thanks.
Yep, and then Councilman Schmidt had Bagby second, and I'll jump in the fire with you there, because I know even as a runner, and I live close to Azalea, while it's a very nice sidewalk, there's a lot of buckling, there's a lot of things coming up, and so that even at a 12,000, I would like to see that almost directly to the parcel. We can't get that granular, but I do recognize where there is traffic, there's also pedestrian traffic, and there is a lot of need. So I definitely think that's a very fair compromise. I know zero would always be preferred, and so just to jump out there and say I can't be a yes man to everyone, but I definitely see that there needs to be a middle line. So I appreciate that compromise, and if someone wins, I think we all lose. So everyone's got to give a little. So I definitely like where that's going. So we do have any other discussion on the floor for the substitute motion?
I agree with the substitute motion. I agree with the fact that we need to look at this. But one of the things that I wanted the city to look at is nonprofits should be in the same category as churches. This should never come up to us again. The other thing that I think we need to look at here is whether or not, I understand they moved a business, right? The first business they had, they were renting. They didn't pay impact fees on a rental. The owner did that. Now they own. This is different. So somehow we need to work that out as well. I'm not saying yes or no to anything. I'm just saying that needs to be looked at as well. And somehow in those mobility fees or in any impact fee, we need to look at those kinds of situations. So that was what I was going to say after we did the vote, but anyway, I'll say it now. Thank you.
All right, and with that, any further discussion? All right, we'll call the substitute motion now amended to 12,000, which would be a reduction of, 29,000, public math. Right up there with public reading. Yeah, give or take. All right, so we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it, so moved. We'll reduce it down to $12,000. Thank you guys for being here.
Next item 4B is the state park update on the Noriega Point property. There's a number of things in your packet. There's the resolution that you passed earlier this year that we presented to the Board of County Commissioners. There's a copy of the survey that we conducted, asking all the residents of the county their thoughts and feelings on what that park should look like, and I think we were all pleased with the results of that. It was done scientifically with I think a 4% margin of error, so it was fairly significant. In your packet, as we were asked to bring back at each subsequent meeting until we decide, you tell us not to, is the process for changing the zoning, the land use, comprehensive plan amendment, and the amendment to the DO. There is a letter that the Holiday Isle Improvement Association sent to the Board of County Commissioners, along with a resolution that they passed supporting the city's position of managing the park. There are two depictions or concepts of what we from staff would present to council for your consideration regarding parking and some limited amenities in the park. Those things are to scale. You can move them around, do as you would like, or make any amendments to it. So tonight there's kind of three things we're looking to do. One is to talk about the parking plan, whether there's one of those you would like to forward to the Board of County Commissioners saying that this is what we'd like to do, or perhaps both of them with your approval. The docks, what you would like to do with the docks and how that would work out. And what else we got? Ms. Kopp, am I missing something? Talked about the docks, talked about the parking. And the free parking on behalf of the county residents. I know Mr. Destin, Ms. Kopp met with Mr. Palmer and the county attorney, and they may have some additional information on that, but that's kind of where we are tonight.
Yeah.
Looking for some direction.
Commissioner Palmer basically asked if the city council would be willing to provide free parking to all county residents, not just City of Destin residents, at the recently acquired state land, what we're calling the Holiday Isle Park. He also asked if that could apply to other parks citywide. So now what we're asking the city council for is more than one decision, and we have a couple of recommended motions in your staff report. First, if we could deal with the city engineer's concept plans. You have two plans in there that the city manager just talked about, and I just want to point out the docks are not included on the plans because the city engineer's focus was to highlight the parking and uses on the upland. We obviously know the docks are there, and when we do take back a council decision to the county, we would like you to provide for what uses might be acceptable to the council on those docks. I know we've thought about using a portion of them as a fishing pier, and we have thought about using them as first come, first served public transient slips that are not available for overnight rentals. Those are things that I understand from representatives of Holiday Isle that they would probably support. I don't want to speak for them because they're not here, but I believe that that was supportable, unlike overnight rentals and a commercial marina, which would certainly not be supported by those residents.
And just briefly, the two concepts you see, one shows 45-degree angled parking, and that's a one-way street through, and that provides an additional 57 new parking spaces. The other is 90-degree parking, which would have a wider impact to a certain degree. Both of them take a little over a half acre of the property to implement the plans as you would see them, but the 90-degree parking would require a wider travel lane so that we can get vehicles in and out. But that would provide 81 new spaces for a total of 139.
81 on the second one. What was the first one, parking?
57 new for a total of 115. And the second concept, which would be the 90-degree parking, was 81 new spaces for a total of 139.
Okay.
So both plans have over 100 spaces, just for the record on that.
And if I may.
Thank you. Oh, he didn't push his button, so I didn't know he wanted to talk.
The commissioners seem to be most concerned about having enough parking, as are we. The parking that is there now is also already going to be used for our Noriega Point Park. And so I would approve, as he did it, in my opinion, to try to get as much parking as we can. So the second plan that has the more spaces is the one that I would endorse. On the other issue of letting the county residents park free, just like we do the citizens of Destin, that seemed pretty important to get the support of the county to go forward as a partner with us in this, and I don't think it's a big ask. As it is, I tried to think of what park that we've gotten substantial amount of funding from the state that we are charging parking in. I don't think that there is one at the moment. So that's not a big give me. I don't know that we really rightfully should charge a pile of money and make parking a priority on these parks where the state of Florida has put up the great majority of the money anyway, including the Leonard Destin Park on Calhoun. We're not charging parking there, I don't believe. So I think it's a small price to pay to get the county's cooperation to go forward. And we discussed the docks, and I don't think there was a great deal of opposition to going forward with a very low impact very low commercial impact to have the docks used for fishing piers and for transient, single day.
Public transit.
Right. And in fact, our codes allow parking credit for those kind of things. And so the parking the transient slips on the docks and the fishing pier could actually add to the amount of use that the public has available. So, I would make a motion that we endorse the parking plan that has the more parking, and that we agree to allowing the county residents to park.
Can I ask you, it could be a separate motion, but
Right.
we have to include the docks as well. Do you want to do that separately?
I would.
Okay, perfect,
Let's-
thank
I'll
you.
second that motion.
I bite it, eat the apple a bite at a time.
Yep.
So this motion is to approve the higher parking design and to allow the county residents to park for free in the parks in Destin.
All of them?
That's really was a request. The county kind of wants to be able to say, we got something out of this deal by turning it over and letting Destin go forward. I don't think it's an unreasonable request. After all, our city residents get free parking, but only if they come and apply. And I'm not sure what percentage even come and apply. So I don't see it as a great impact on us. The great majority of the people who are parking and paying are out-of-town visitors. So I think it's a fair exchange for the county's cooperation on this. And if we're going to do what they're asked, then it makes it harder for them not to agree that we're all marching in the same direction.
I want to clarify one other thing, and this is contingent, this parking that you're describing, on us managing the park, right? It's not a motion that stands if we're not
Of
managing.
course
And
not.
I
This
bring
is
that
all-
up.
This is all part of the agreement that we're
Okay.
trying to work out.
I bring that up because after we met with Commissioner Palmer, the county attorney reached out to me on his behalf and basically said he had thought further about it, and the county wants to be sure that they're not stepping on anyone's toes at the state or disappointing any expectations at the state. So they want to meet with the state and make sure it's okay with the state for the city to manage it as well before they make that commitment. So I just want to clarify, it has not been obviously decided fully yet, so.
No, we're still in the negotiation, but we have come a long way from where we started.
So we're giving them everything they wanted?
And they're giving us everything we want, which is control of the park.
So are they paying for the improvements, or now we're paying for the improvements?
It appears that we are taking over that burden.
And reducing the price for renewal and replacement later. Got it. All right, Councilman Bagby.
Yeah, do we charge county residents to park within any of our parks at this time?
No, we do not, in our parks, we do not have a charge.
I
Except
just wanna
for
I
at
wanted to get that on the
Noriega.
record, yeah. So I don't have a problem with that part of the motion, because the parking out in Crystal Beach and in other places where we do charge for parking, we'll still be charging parking for county residents who don't have a nice little City of Destin sticker, but not in the parks.
Okay, well, I appreciate that clarification, because that's
Okay.
where I was kind of
No,
worried.
so well, yeah, and there's, I'm not in favor of concept 2, the 90-degree parking. I mean, I'll vote for this thing, but if it goes south, that'll be the first thing I vote to get rid of, and this is the reason. Living in Crystal Beach, these people come with F-250s with the big trailer hitches, and yes, if you widen the travel lane, yep, that gives you more, but if you've ever seen one of those people try to pull into a 90-degree parking spot, they're challenged. They're very challenged. I say that as a native Texan.
That's why we back in.
Who owns a F-150, not a F-250 with a big trailer hitch. But just envision all these 90-degree spaces and all these big trucks carrying all these floaties and whatever else they've got in there, and then them trying to back straight out back into the F-250 with the big trailer hitch. Again, that's why I kind of like the angled parking. I know it doesn't get us as many spaces. I would ask that you and Mr. Palmer and the attorneys consider that, because I think we're going to create a terrible problem out there with the straight-in parking.
And I think I would agree that we can certainly discuss it.
Yeah, and maybe in the straight portions, you might be able to get away with it, but part of the problem is the way that thing curves like that to follow the road and follow the terrain. That you got to swing wide to come back, because some of those, the turns are actually more than 90 degrees. When you're driving that way and then you have to come in 90 degrees, it's actually a very hard turn. I asked the engineer to extend the sidewalk from the playground area to the far left pavilion, only to provide access for handicap to one of the covered spots. I don't want the sidewalk to go all the way down to all the pavilions, but I would ask that you amend the motion to do that. And one thing I would like is, I agree with the no overnight on the docks, and I would take one of the docks out, leave one for daily use or whatever, and one as a fishing pier. But, you know, you're our chief negotiator here. The one thing I would ask the county to do, since we're paying for the parking lot, is to pay for whatever capability it is, gates or whatever, going in and going out of that parking in the light blue, to feed a sign at the entrance to Gulf Shore Drive that says 2 parking spots left or 1 parking spot left, because it may be Holiday Isle, I didn't see it in the letter, but one of their biggest concerns is you get 800 people down there for 115 parking spots. They're going to find a place to park because they're not going to turn around and go all the way out and go back to Henderson or go back to Crystal Beach or go. So I would ask that the county figure out a way to do that. You know, yeah, we'll not charge anybody to park there, you know, in that blue spot inside our park there. But those would be the things that I would ask that y'all negotiate in your final agreement, that, because I assume you're going to negotiate something with the county's going to go to the state, you know, and then y'all are going to bring something back to us for actual approval as an agreement.
Yeah, this is a conceptual plan that we're taking back to them.
Okay.
Isn't that correct, Tim?
Yes, if council approves a concept plan, then we would hope it would go to the BCC on the 21st, although they might change that date if they haven't heard back from the state yet. But I think we plan to attend on the 21st anyway.
Yeah.
And then at that point, they would look at our plan, and if they can support it and ensure that they believe it's a park that's open beyond to just city residents, which obviously it would be, they would support us, and we would jointly go to the state and request city management and that the city obtain the lease.
Yeah.
That's the discussion.
My point is, every one of these entities has a red line. The state's red line was the docks, or is the docks. The county's red line is the parking for county residents. Holiday Isle improvements red line was minimization of the traffic flowing through, basically up and down Gulf Shore Drive. You know, ours was, we want to manage the project. So I just, what I'm asking you to do is make sure that those 4 red lines are each addressed. You know, the configuration of the parking, that's I think we're going to learn that that's a bad concept. But, you know, we'll see what they say, okay?
Yep. I'm sorry, isn't that why they changed the parking down at,
Shores of Crystal Beach?
no, the Crab Trap? Didn't the county change all that?
Oh, yeah, it's all
to-
one way.
To
Yeah.
angled,
Yes.
Yep.
angled parking?
It's all, yeah. And they, which I didn't actually see, but I know we're.
Councilman Schmidt.
I would just point out that by reducing the commercialization of the arena, I think we have made great strides toward Holiday Isles red line, which was, you know, we won't have 50 yachts with people living on them on those docks, or whatever the original thought was. So that's a big step toward.
If you remember, the original concept had, you know, office, retail, food,
Wedding
food
venue.
trucks,
Yep, 11,000 square
possible
foot.
gas in 10 years,
Special
although
event
not-
venue.
Yeah.
Councilman Schmidt.
Yeah, well, thanks for everybody's hard work. But to me, I feel like we're kind of missing the picture a little bit. All those things that you just said were just big dreams by Drew Palmer and the circus. They weren't actually happening. I don't think they were going to happen, in my opinion. So I'm all about trying to figure out how we can come together and do this, but I feel like we're just taking it all on, like, you know, we're going to take over we have to build it now. We have to manage it, support it. They're giving it to us. They don't own it. Like, they're not giving us anything. They're giving us the ability to manage the property that the state owns. You know, there's still concerns about how do we even support those numbers of people down there. I mean, our current facility that we just built, is there like a number or an occupancy? How many stalls do we even have in there? Is there a number that we say it can handle? I know it's not an occupancy thing, right? But, you know, I go to a ballpark with 8 baseball fields in it with 2 urinals and 2 stalls. It was a tragedy, you know? This facility already is going to be overused just between the boats and the people that already come. And now if we're going to put 100 plus more parking spots, where's the future facility? You know what I mean? I think those are the things that we should be talking about now in this conceptual plan as well. Because you build that, I mean, that bathroom facility is just going to be, we're going to need full-time staff just to stay there all day, which I don't think we have. So I guess I appreciate like where we're trying to get by saying, you know, they're not going to build the circus here anymore, but I think we are giving up more here. You know, I think we're giving up where we were at, which was pretty much telling them, you're not going to do what you think you're going to do. The city and the residents and the people aren't going to support it, so good luck. I mean, I'm still wanting to just stay on that front because I don't see it happening. And this just kind of brings me like we're giving them a potential promise or a potential excitement that they're going to build, that we are going to build this, and we are going to have to manage it, that we probably won't even be able to, unfortunately. So it just concerns me. Too many concerns for me, unfortunately. And parking in the park. What are we defining in the park? Basically, those blue, like we wouldn't charge in that would not be charged? Is that what y'all say is in the park? in this, when we tell them county residents can park for free?
No, it sounds like
In the
we're
park?
gonna suck up our right-of-way into that too.
Right, so anything like in these
That
boundary
whole
lines,
thing.
basically?
That whole thing.
Would be in the park?
Yeah.
And that's why like Crystal Beach wouldn't be part of it, because it's not in a park.
I don't know about that. Are we
Is
doing
that-
the
is that what
right-of-way
you're
at Osteen
considering in the
Beach?
park?
Is the Osteen Beach parking on the street, is that part of this too?
In the park is I guess the motion. So what does in the park mean?
Parking to serve a specific city park. Here, the parking for this park is in the blue and also the parking on the Gulf Shore Drive
The
extension.
current one and then the
Yeah.
potentially a new one,
Yeah.
right? So,
And it's also city parks.
Yeah.
Located in the city is what my motion means.
Which we don't currently charge at any other city parks.
like Calhoun and, well, all those parks, right? Yeah, yeah, I can't, I don't want to, I have to think how I could throw another option, but I just don't want to support this because I think it puts us further back than we potentially were
Right.
as a city.
Mr. Burgess, you got anything?
I just had a couple of comments. Currently, our Destin resident parking decal program limits 2 vehicles per household. And I haven't heard a restriction like that. We've had requests before, if you've got a 3 or 4 vehicle household, you're limited to 2. And you get the 2 decals.
We wouldn't change those regulations under this motion.
Okay, so what my second part was, along Gulf Shore Drive, there are 47 paid parking spaces as well. Now, can a license plate reader tell what county of origin the license plate is registered to? Yes. But you have to have a camera system with a discrete ingress and egress, which you won't have on Gulf Shore Drive. We have a parking enforcement officer. Once you create a session in LAZ, you're good. If you have not created a session, you get a $103.95 ticket.
Okay, you understand this is a conceptual plan. We will work those details out, but we are currently doing that on all of those spaces right now. And this motion does not propose changing anything until we've worked the details out.
Thank you.
All right. Councilman Schmidt, anything else? All right, so I've been thinking through this. If I live in Okaloosa County, let's not even call it unincorporated Destin. If I live and I got to come over this bridge, and I got to go through the failing roads of 98 in traffic, then I want to go down a 2-lane road for a potential chance of having it. I really just think we're coming up with numbers that look good on paper, but again, back to realism and practicality. I think the locals of Okaloosa who have a boat would access this for free through the public transient slips that we would create or modify the docks to make. Why would they not go to Beasley Park or any of the Okaloosa Island beaches versus going to a dead-end street of not a beach, or I'm sorry, not a Gulf beach, a East Pass, there's a wall there. I don't know. It sounds good on paper, but why would a local of Fort Walton Beach, of Miramar, of anywhere want to go to this beach? I just don't know why we're emphasizing so much physical vehicle parking versus boat parking. I think the water is what connects Okaloosa County residents together, and I would be very much more in favor of connecting it through the waterway, not an already known problem of traffic. So that's just kind of my, not pushback, but, option one, I think the one-way is a lot safer. I think it's a lot less of a cluster. And we're talking about 24 parking space difference between 1 and 2, and 1 being, in my opinion, much safer. And clearly the county agrees with that because of what they've done at Crab Trap. But regardless, we're adding 100 parking spaces for whom? Are they really going to be for the locals of Okaloosa County, or is this more parking for tourists? It's fine either way, but let's just call a spade here and who's actually going to use this parking. Because I don't believe Okaloosa County residents will use this parking because they want to go to the Gulf, not East Pass. So that's just kind of my stress test, logic test on take the numbers away, take the negotiating chips away. Just my head where I'm approaching it is that, like, let's focus on the residents of Okaloosa County via the boat. Not everyone has a boat, but if they don't have a boat, why are they going to drive into the worst traffic of Okaloosa County to get to a spot that's not on the Gulf, that has really bad, not even rip currents, but tidal changes? Like, we're just introducing a lot of things that don't make sense if you zoom out from that parcel. On that parcel, looks good. I like it. You zoom out and it doesn't make any sense. So,
What's the difference in the number?
button. 115, 139,
So we're talking about
29. Yeah, 29 spaces in difference. 24, sorry, 24. Either way.
Math in public.
I know, math in public. Here we are. batting 50 now. Either way, that's why I just, the extra parking, why are they cruxing on that so much? It sounds good, but the reality of like, can we please zoom out for once in government and see, like, is that really going to help our locals, regardless of what city or not city you live in? I don't believe so. Like, I want to help Okaloosa County. I want to help unincorporated Destin. I don't think this helps them get to the beach for free because it's not the Gulf. So that's just kind of my logic trying to think through this. I'm all, if we need more parking, if they're going to die on that hill, I guess ask why.
As far as 20 more spaces, it may not be critical. If the council wants to endorse the fewer parking space plan, we take it to them and see what they say.
We can give them both and say, here are some ideas
That's
that we're
right.
Yeah.
possibly going to support.
That's
Give
it.
us
Pick
your
one.
input.
Yeah. Go ahead, Councilman Vega.
Yeah, I prefer concept one. I think I made
I'll
that clear.
change the motion to include, or to use
Yeah.
concept one, and
Yeah.
we'll see what the reaction is.
One way is safer. If we do go to a license plate reader system, or however they're going to get vehicles to activate the sign out there, which one, I think, would support easier than two, because they got to come in one way and go out one way. The other thing is, I would ask them to, for $1 million to help construct it, and $1 million a year from TDT. I agree exactly with your point, except on two nights, New Year's Eve and July 4th.
For sure, yeah.
Because I would drive from Baker to come watch
Of
our
course.
fireworks.
Oh, absolutely.
Or your
Our drone show. Come on,
Yeah,
fireworks
I got
are
it.
outdated. That's so
Okay.
last year.
I know.
Yeah, pollute our harbor.
Okay, so we'll modify the motion to use concept one.
Right. Thank you.
And so anyone else, discussion, thoughts on that? Did you second it, Councilwoman Trammell? I don't know who. Okay, are you okay with that modification, just for procedure?
So it's concept one and the parking is still included, Councilmember Destin?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Just making
Oh,
sure.
and the free parking, yeah.
Okay.
The parking goes, yeah, the lower number parking spaces.
Yeah, and then Councilman Bagby, I think your parking number sign, I mean, I've kind of floated that out there even years ago. I mean, I think that would at least, for the Holiday Isle Association, whether it works, whether people believe the sign, like, oh, well, by the time I get down there might be a spot. I think that would be a lot of goodwill from the county to show the Holiday Isle Association, per their letter, that they're trying to do some kind of compromise to match them. Because I think a lot of people, regardless of the efficiency, I think it'd be efficient, but I think that really shows the county's willingness to listen to Holiday Isle Association through some kind of that mechanism of parking count free. I think that would be a huge element.
We'll ask them to participate in that concept.
Thank you, sir. Okay. We have a motion. I don't see anyone else on the dais. We'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it 4-1.
Mayor, I'm going to ask that we move 4E forward, because we do have some folks from Destiny East and Crystal Beach here that are here for that, and they don't get paid. Oh, wait, I don't get paid either, but
Yeah.
they
Well, thank you guys for being here still. Jeez.
they don't get paid to be here at
Welcome to
8:30
government.
at night. So if we could just move that forward.
Okay, just for procedural, can we get a vote on that, or do you want to just call that up?
We probably need
Yeah, okay, I have a motion and a second to make 4E next. Is before we get there, is there anything else on C that we need to discuss before we make that the
Yeah.
next topic? It seems like that's going to go.
We still need to have
Yes.
a motion on the docks.
Okay, so let's talk docs, and then we'll make the motion for E to be next, and then everyone wins. All right. Maybe, except you guys waiting an extra 20 minutes, sorry. All right, on the docs, Councilman Destin?
On the motion on the dock, I would recommend that we propose that the dock be used for transient slips and fishing piers, and that those transient slips parking be applied to the parking requirements for the use of the dock, which means there wouldn't be any, and we'd actually have a credit.
And that'd be public transient per the city's code.
Sure.
I'll second that.
Evidently, rules and definitions matter in government. Yeah.
I'm going to point something out just for the record now. Everything y'all are doing is subject to you changing the land use entitlements on this property. I know that's in the staff report, and we've talked about it 5 times, but in case the county is watching, this isn't waiving all of that. Those public hearings for zoning, future land use, ETC would be still required. So,
Thank you.
We'll follow our rules.
This time.
I'm sure the county knows it.
All right, Councilman Dess, anything else further on that? All right. All right, any discussions on the docks? All right, would we be paying to lower them? Because, Councilwoman Trammell?
I was just going to say that, to me, the docks benefit the county more than the number of parking spaces we put in
100%.
there. Because I think we have boaters that would access that spot more than car riders, for lack
Agreed.
of a better term.
And I would support that analysis because we have 30 or 40 or 50 boats that pull along the beach between this marina and the point. Hopefully they'll be happy to go over to where they get to dock for free and walk. We'll see.
Yep. I'm not even going to get this too muddy in the water. We'll get there when we get there. Yeah. I can elaborate if you can elaborate. All right. Seeing no further discussions, we'll call. Is there a vote? Okay. All right. All right. Ayes have it. So moved. 5-0. Yep. All right. Any further votes that you need? We got marching orders. All right. I'll take a motion.
We move 4E forward.
All right. The second? All right. I'll call, seeing no discussion, I'll call the vote to make E our next topic.
I make a motion when the entire alphabet is under the city manager's report, so we don't do it.
The entire alphabet? Okay, I got it. I'm tracking now. It took me a second. Yeah. This is what happens when we get an extra week. Yeah. This is for, this is called coming back after a week of vacation. You get extra work. All right. Calling the vote to move E next for Dewberry, Four Prong Lake. Ayes have it 5-0. Mr. Jones, Dr. Jones.
Thank you. For Four Prong Lake, for the initial design, survey, and professional services, this is a $274,550 engagement. They'll do cost estimates, some surveying, environmental analysis, geotechnical services, hydraulic and hydrological modeling, along with design geometry, put forth a procurement selection for a design build process, and environmental monitoring and construction inspection as post-procurement. This will be the next logical phase in this project. So we're looking forward to moving it forward with your approval.
All right, with that, you legislative
Mayor, I
sponsor?
move that City Council approve the Dewberry work authorization for Four Prong Lake, including initial engineering, survey, and other professional services, and authorize the city manager to execute.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, with the second, my only comment is this is an awesome example of why everyone should join the city of Destin and unincorporated. The levels of representation that all of you all have brought, from them bringing it to us bringing it to quite literally, I think, every level of government, finding different pockets of money inside a gated community with private roads, with a private issue. yet collectively us finding a way forward on a multi-million-dollar flooding stormwater issue. This couldn't be a better case study of how a city can represent you and not what they can take from you. So that was just my little blurb that I'm going to throw in there. I have a motion and second. Seeing no further discussions, we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it. So moved, 5-0. Back to D.
Thank you. Item 4C is regarding the replacement of streetlight fixtures that we understand are known as the Destin Prague model. FPNL no longer supporting those, so this would entail a new lighting agreement and selection of a new fixture, and we're recommending the teardrop that is shown in your documentation because the existing one is no longer available. Mr. Burgess will fill you in with any details if you need any.
All right, Councilwoman Trammell.
Mike.
All right.
I move to recommend.
Mike. She's got it on.
Okay.
He's just busting on you now.
Oh. I move to recommend the teardrop with deep skirt, streetlight fixture, and number 3 decorative bracket as the city's replacement for the discontinued Destin Prague fixture in the town center CRA and the area lighting fixture for the harbor CRA, and authorize the city manager to execute any required lighting agreements with FPL.
All right, and I had a second by Councilman Destin. Yep, I got your mic for you. All right, I see no further discussion. So basically, the droopy dandelion thing that we currently have on Commons is going away? Is that what that is? The shepherd's hook. That's what it was. Hey, that's what my wife calls it, some kind of droopy flower. I don't know what flower she's always saying, but all right, the shepherd's hook's going away. Good deal. All right, seeing no further discussions, we'll call the vote. I'm sure about to get a text and be like, you never listen. All right. Oh, yeah, sorry, Ray. I said D. I meant C. So just for your records, if everyone's okay with it, Ray's got agenda item D on there. Is that what you're saying? All right. We go with that either way? We'll rerun it? All right, perfect. All right, ayes have it so moved unanimously, and then now to D. Dr. Jones.
Item D is the community center roof.
Sad tulip, sorry, there's the text.
If you recall that back in February, we went out for bids, and we received 3 bids for the roof on the community center. $652,603.04 was the lowest responsible bidder from ICE. And we recommend we move forward with that. If you recall, the assessment we did, the community center said if we want to make improvements, we need to start with the roof, get it secure. This is a standing seam metal roof, and so that would be the first, what we would think of a phased process to make the improvements to that building.
All right.
I'll move that we approve the 16.
All right. I got a motion from Councilman Destin to fix the roof. Got a second. Any discussions, Councilman Schmidt?
What kind of warranty do we get with this?
We don't.
So I feel like last time we had a new roof
Jeff,
and there was
you-
never anything done.
Which last time? We've done this several times.
Huh? What's that? I'm sorry, I missed something.
He said which last
What
time?
last
We've
time?
done it several times.
On the roof?
Yes.
Right, so I'm talking about this time, what kind of warranty do we get?
Jeff, are you familiar with, or we can bring it
I
back
don't
up?
recall specifically. It did mention in the proposal what the warranty was. I just don't have a direct
Yeah, we
recollection
can
of
get
that.
out to you.
Yeah, because I feel like over the past 3 years, we've talked about the roof, and we always talked about the previous company that installed it, but then they're not going to fix it, you know? So if there's a problem with this roof, will it be fixed, I guess, is my question. No?
Don't get your hopes up.
I mean, I know we're all laughing, but it's nearly $1 million to
Well,
fix a roof of a building that's basically falling apart,
And
so.
we will have to bring you a contract back and so we will.
So this isn't
have
the
a
contract?
Commissioner's address.
What is this, just approving the
Awarding the bid, yes, sir.
awarding, and then you'll bring us a contract?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good to know. Thank you, sir.
All right. Seeing no further discussions, we'll call the vote on a roof with details to, the roof is on fire, the roof is falling because there's no walls anymore. 5-0, so moved. All right, and keep them going.
Next item is for F, Clement Taylor Park. This is a change order. Total change order is $48,187.24. Of that, $29,719 is for the roof replacement of the existing pavilion, which we had committed to doing but did not include it into the bid for the project. So we knew this was an expense we were going to incur. This is for a red metal roof that matches the other roofing structures going on. The remainder of the change order is due to some site conditions that were unforeseen. There were some errors and omissions in the plans that had to be corrected. Then the couple of changes that we needed, a new well for the irrigation. We are cutting back on some of the sod that was originally bid, so we're saving some money there to offset some of these costs. But the total change order is $48,187.24. Asking your approval.
All right, with that, do I hear a motion? No roof for you.
I don't see the recommended motion anywhere.
Yeah, motion to approve change order number 2 for Clement Taylor Park project for the amount of $48,187.24.
Thank you, sir. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the vote for CO number 2. There you go. I had Councilman Schmidt with the motion, Councilwoman Trammell with the second, and then Ray's going to call the vote. Yep, sorry. All right, listen, it's not me calling. Yeah, I wish I could. Poor Ray's got to do 20 things over there. There we go. All right, ayes have it, so moved. The park is looking awesome. I run by it all the time.
Item 4G is regarding the 446 Calhoun Avenue. This is the engineering services to go through the process of converting that into a parking facility. It's from Volkert, who, through our continuing services agreement, the proposed cost is $74,922, with the potential of having a couple of things we need to add as we move through it, but not to exceed $80,000. And this is contingent upon us closing on the property. As you know, it's under contract, and we anticipate closing by the end of this month. So this would just position us to be ready to move forward after that closing.
All right, with that, do I hear a motion? Councilman Braden?
Do you say it's going to be $80,000 for a concept?
No, that's plans, engineering.
Plans.
$80,000 for plans for a
That's-
parking lot?
It's environmental. Robert can tell us exactly what all's in there, in that scope, but it's, I asked the same question.
So it includes environmental survey. It also includes a survey to bring all of Threadgill under one plat, in essence. So we were going to combine all the 30 pieces of Threadgill into one plat too. So that includes that too.
Okay.
And let's see, hold on. And plan development and some bid support too.
What kind of impact fees is this going to cost us?
I think this is being paid for out of the parking fund, so we shouldn't have any impact fees.
Yeah. Volker, they are one and only in continuing service contract?
No, they are one of, I think, 4
Did
that
we
we
ask the
currently
other
have.
3?
Do what? I'm
Did
sorry.
we get bids from the other 3 or just get quotes from the other 3?
No, that's not you can't bid out professional services like that. That's not how that works.
No. Trying to save a buck. All right. Councilman Destin? Thanks.
We're changing the zoning, of course, and we're also going to change the comp plan. This is all going to get done before we spend the money, right? Or are we going to do it in conjunction with?
Those things are coming up
They are.
later tonight.
Comp plan amendments, so generally have to be approved or no? By the state? That's, I guess, the question for Kim.
Yes. Comp plan amendments have to go to the state.
Okay, so this comp plan amendment that we're proposing will go to the state.
After it's approved on first reading, it would go to the state for an initial review, and then it would come back to you for second reading with any comments from the state, and then it would go back to them after you approve on second reading, and then it would become adopted officially 30 days after.
Okay, this says second reading, so we got comments back from them?
No, I don't have comments back.
No comments?
What's the question?
446 Calhoun, any comments back from the comp plan?
That's what I
team?
was just speaking to Tina about. So I believe, Kim, if I'm not mistaken, that this would be a small-scale comp plan amendment because this property is less than 50 acres. So this would not require a state.
No, you're right, it doesn't, and that's what I told them. However, I thought you were asking something else. I
No,
thought you were
just
asking about a
wanted to
text
make sure we didn't
amendment.
have to have comments to take into account.
No, if we're just talking about changing the future land use, it doesn't under 50 acres. That's what staff and I talked
That's
about.
good.
I thought you were talking about text.
Good question nonetheless. All right, seeing none, I got my motion and second on the floor. We will call the vote. Oh, okay, I saw Councilman Schmidt with the motion, Councilwoman Trammell with the second, just for those that aren't seeing it, yeah, evidently. In 3 weeks, evidently I forgot how to do this thing. All right, Boss Man Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is item 4H. This is request for your emergency approval for a purchase order for the harbor pump repairs. We had a malfunction of it. The total repair cost is $52,655. We've moved forward with getting those repairs done for the importance of getting that pump back up and running. So we're asking you to approve that tonight.
All right.
Mayor, I move to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $52,665 to appropriate from the 108 FDEP Water Quality Fund balance. I move to approve on and after the fact authorization for the city manager to issue a purchase order to Go Forth Williamson Incorporated in the amount of $52,655 for emergency repair of the Destin Harbor pump system.
All right, I have a motion. Do I hear a second? All right, with a second, any discussions? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. No, it's not going to fail and cost 52,000. Oysters.
It's funny you mentioned that because as we were discussing the Four Prong Lake engineering, we should look at something similar in the harbor till they told me that the engineering company offered to do that.
Aware system over there?
Yeah, for $250,000 that they would help engineer the, or look at it, study it, not actually engineer it.
Yeah, I'll look at it for 2,000.
Fly a drone over it even.
Yep, it's there. All right.
4I?
4I, yes, sir.
We were asked a couple of meetings ago to bring you back a code compliance activity report. So what you have are two timeframes, one from January 1st through March 30th, and then the other was from December 3rd to March 2nd. You see in the first column there in your packet, for instance, the January 1st, 26 to March 30th, 26, the total number in the left column of 671. Those are interactions that we have documented and have recorded those interactions. In the event we follow up and have another incident, then we know who we're dealing with and what we've dealt with. Okay, I'm not sure what went on there. But then you have the registrations and the citations during those same timeframes. So we'll be glad to try to address any questions you may have, but that's just for information to let you know that, code folks are out there working and they're identifying issues and citing and taking short-term rental registrations.
Awesome. All right.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain how it works with 379 review numbers, but 75 citations? How do those correlate with each other?
I'll ask Chris, because we've had that conversation, and he can do a better job at it than I can.
So anytime you have an interaction with somebody, it's documented. So you could have a parking complaint that comes in, you arrive there, there's no issue. So that's still documented, but there's no citation. Or you go out and talk to somebody about a problem that you don't find or it's unfounded. So we get a lot of calls, we get a lot of times we go out there that there is no issue located at that time. So it also doesn't include in here, out of that 379, that does not include in here, which I can't track through MGO, is NOVs that are issued. So you could have notice of violations issued to a property owner, but it doesn't specifically state there was a citation issued. The only thing that it'll give me on there is the parking warning. So in the system, the officer can put in there, hey, I went out on a parking complaint, issued a warning, or I issued a monetary fine. So that's how you have the discrepancy, as you say, between those numbers. It's not necessarily that they're not getting cited, but it's not a monetary issue or a...
No, that makes sense. I was asking correlation, not discrepancy, but...
Correct, yes.
So the one additional is 123 signs, calls, whatever.
Which report, I'm sorry?
Signs.
Left side.
On the left side, 123. So based on what you're just kind of saying, there wasn't any citations out of 123?
So that could be picking up snipe signs, that could be...
Oh, okay.
Those are
Not
snipe-
like a illegal sign or
No,
something.
those
Gotcha.
are issued just specifically to snipe signs.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
All right. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. You had something? You had something? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see, shit, okay, my bad.
Yeah, please, I appreciate the report, but I'm wondering where all the real problems are, like this house in Crystal Beach. That's a problem. Where's that at on here? I mean, we're going out and snatching signs up. That's great. Parking. But where's all the real problems at?
Ask you to speak to it more.
So,
in the, they're showing 6 short-term rental issue citations, and I'm sure some of the parking warnings could be in the short-term rental areas and some of the parking citations. Chris, can you offer any more than that?
So, yeah, to clarify that, again, on these going out to short-term rentals, specifically speaking on the property in Crystal Beach, they were issued several notice of violations for different things. So you're not going to see the notice of violations in this because it doesn't track that for me in MGO. I can't specifically see every one that's been issued in NOV, but I know that specific address in Crystal Beach, when the original properties were brought up, the issues with it, whether to do with the slide in the back or the swales, NOVs were issued regarding that. Some of those were corrected, some of those are still under review. And then when the last issue came out with the advertisement, a separate NOV, because now we've got a different case that we're addressing, was sent out to them on that behalf. So we are doing it, and when you see in here parking, and then you see STR parking, yeah, there's 2 different categories. if the officer does not classify it correctly and just puts parking but doesn't add the STR to that function, you're not going to get the specific STR numbers. So like you have 173 parking issues. I know for a fact a lot of those were over the last month that we were out there, the officers were out there issuing monetary fines for parking in Crystal Beach.
You good there?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right. I will save my joke for later.
Next, 4J. We're asking you to consider a revised health insurance cost share proposal. As you're aware, the city covers the cost of every employee's medical insurance 100%, and then we cover we pay any dependent coverage at 2/3 of the rate. So what we're suggesting is that from the date of adoption, or May 1st, that we adjust that for new hires and new hires only, so not impacting anybody already on staff, that 66 2/3 rate be reduced to 50%, so that while we'd still cover the full cost of the employee, we would reduce the dependent portion that the city would cover to 50%, and the employee would cover 50%. We think this is in line with other jurisdictions, and we certainly think it's fair and equitable in the benefit world as we know it today.
Councilman Bagby.
Mayor, I move to reduce the city's portion of dependent coverage for all medical and ancillary coverages to 50% effective May 1st, 2026.
All right, I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
With a second discussion, Councilman Destin?
Thank you, Mayor. I understand that our insurance costs are constantly going up, but I just saw on the Channel 3 the other night that the school district had actually found a unique way to lower their school costs. They have started their own clinic that is available to all the school board employees, and it's proposed or said to be able to reduce substantially their insurance premiums by funding that, and so people with just small problems can go to that. That's a concept I'd like to see us explore, to see if we can piggyback on with their program, see what it would cost. We've got 3 things on the agenda tonight about minimum wage adjustment, we've got commuter policy, we've got this. These are all affecting the pay that our people get. And I would like to think it's more appropriate to look at them as a group rather than piecemeal it together like this. And, you know, I read in the material that it would reduce our premiums by a certain amount. It would be a lot better if we could piggyback with the county and figure out what in the school districts, figure out what they're doing and see if we can't do the same. I had some discussions along those lines with some of our insurance people a year or so ago. That was an option that they said could possibly reduce. So I'd like to see us explore that option before we go forward with adding this additional expense on our employees. While on the other hand, we're thinking about raising the hourly and give them a commuter fee. Over here, we're going to take it down. I'd like to have a comprehensive solution where we look at all of this and try to do what's best for our employees.
And Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Ironically, we met with our insurance broker this afternoon, had some of that conversation, and subsequent to that meeting, Jamie and I had the exact conversation you're talking about, what the school board did with the clinic, and we said the same thing, as we need to explore how we could either work with them, come up with an own plan, and how that would work. So that's in the works, and so I appreciate that.
And is there some magic number about May 1st? Or, I mean, each month we put it off while we explore our options is going to cost us 1/12 of what the savings would be. I just, you know, I'm a little hesitant to go forward on May the 1st when there may be an option that we can explore that would be better and save us the money to boot.
No magic on May 1st at all. We've had a number of conversations of, trying to get this whole process more sustainable over a period of time, and we thought this may be a good place to start, but we're certainly can do it at any time or not.
And you will be able to contact the school district to see if there's any way we can piggyback on them?
Sure, yes, sir.
Councilman Bagby?
Yeah, I was going to reiterate what Larry said, and I'm glad to pull my motion and direct staff to come back with that answer about the school board at the next meeting. It shouldn't take long for us to figure out, because either we can or we can't. And if we can't, then we need to bring this back before us. Before we get into part of this is in the budgeting cycle to figure out what our costs are going to be going forward. The true savings will be if we can get to a self-insurance point. We're not there yet. And I'm not sure that during our tenure we can, I know not during mine, that we can get there, but at some point, hopefully the city will be able to get to self-insurance for health care, and that will be the true savings. But I'm glad to withdraw my motion and ask that you put it on the agenda either underneath my name or Mr. Destin's name next month, or at the next meeting. Not the special meeting, the next regular meeting.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I think the clinic is a step toward the self-insurance, is my understanding. So, if we can't work with them, can we do a standalone? So let's look at that. That would, I would hope, and I would think, reduce our costs substantially, we hope.
All right.
The card provides some of that teledoc. So really it's where I think they're going with the clinic, because think about it, a clinic, people from Baker and people from Destin Middle School, probably not going to go, you spend more do it, transporting those folks or their issues. Yeah.
All right, so I got your withdrawal, and is that a motion to direct staff to go discuss with the school board? All right. Councilman Destin, are you the second?
Sure, if it requires.
Or
I was a second.
on the
I'll
back.
withdraw
Sorry,
the
yeah.
second.
So you're the second. So you're remotioning. Okay. All right. Seeing no discussions on the new motion on the floor, we'll call the vote. All right. Ayes have it. So moved. 5-0. All right. Dr. Bossman.
Thank you. Next item is regarding the minimum wage adjustment that council asked us to bring back. So you got 2 or 3 things, or 4 things there in your packet for your consideration. We were asked to look at what, if we moved everyone up to $17 an hour, and I think Jamie will confirm that we don't have any full-time permanent employees below $17 an hour. But if we do make those adjustments, it would increase annual cost of $49,309. And that is not considering any compression. That's just moving those up. If we do the same thing to $20 an hour, that has an annual cost of $195,045.91. And then if we take those same 2 scenarios and consider the compression factor so that we're not taking a guy that's started at $17 an hour and has worked for 4 years and now at $20 an hour, all of a sudden someone's being hired at $20 an hour. To do that at the $17, and this was only addressing the compression to the lower half of our pay scale, so the upper half would not be affected by this, would cost $330,982 a year, and to do that at $20 would be a $521,945 per year increase in our payroll. Jamie, did I get those numbers right? Okay.
All right, with that, Councilman Schmidt, I believe this was your item. Would you like to jump in at all? Oh, it was Tori's. I'm sorry. Someone to my right. I don't know. All right, so with that, is there any discussion on the floor? My only thoughts on this matter were while I love our front desk ladies, they're always a hoot to come into. They seem to always have a smile on their face. I would say that, as always, our biggest need is enforcement and code compliance. So if we're going to make someone's, I guess, value a little bit larger in Destin, I think it would be to get the highest capable people in that department. But that's where I would go on that. Councilman Bagby?
Yeah, Mayor, the one thing that he said that the staff pointed out in my briefing was not a single full-time permanent staff member makes less than $17 an hour. So to raise temporary, part-time staff members to 17, there's a reason they are temporary, because they don't want to work 40 hours a week, and the trade-off they make is they make a little less than $17 an hour. I would make a motion to direct staff to include in next year's budget a wage study. It's been several years since we've done one, and we need to make sure that we're competitive. I think we're more than competitive with our wages based on, we caught up over 3 and 4 years ago. And so once we caught up, we've given raises, I think, commensurate with both inflation and performance. But we need to, every once in a while, check that. So that's my motion.
All right, I have a motion. Do I hear a second? Second for a study. All right, discussions, Councilman Destin.
I would just comment that I requested that information for informational purposes so we could move forward toward the budgeting process, and the study is another piece of information that we could use.
And almost to your guys' point you brought up in past meetings, I definitely can see the exponential curve of that base pay and how that would climb up. So I definitely would be in favor of kind of cheesy, the Christmas bonus, whatever that looks like. 'Cause I think that kind of covers the runaway over the years, yet validates that we're trying to provide top performers. So just a little thought through that. Councilwoman Trammell.
I appreciate all this information, but we have a requirement to move to a base rate of 15 by September.
That's right.
Do we need to make a motion on that?
That's state law.
Or is the state just going to take over on that one?
Yeah, you do it or they come after you.
Larry, you got that minimum requirement for the state? Do we need to make a motion to
No, I don't
be
think
at par,
so.
or they're just going to do it anyways?
I think that's.
That's already in the
statute.
plan for
Yeah,
the
that's
budget,
already
yeah.
in the-
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to push back on that. Yeah. All right, thanks for that comment. That's a good one. All right, anything else? All right, seeing none?
Next item is the labor policy.
What?
Wage study.
Oh, wage study. Thank you, sir. All right. I try to blow off your study. All right, we got a motion on the floor for a wage study
Now that says minimum wage.
next year. So you're going to commit the future council to something?
No, we're developing the budget this year.
Yeah.
This council.
I'm just learning on the job. All right, ayes have it, so moved, 5-0. All right, Larry.
It's getting late. Young. Regarding particularly Mid-Bay Bridge and what that costs. So we looked at 3 different scenarios. One's to do nothing, leave it as it is. 2 was we said, not to exceed $40 per employee. And there's a number there in your packet that if we do all of that, that's a $58,000, $828 annual stipend. But we did a breakdown also that says some kind of a hybrid that depending on where you live and how far you commute, a reimbursement number there. And then if you cross the Mid-Bay Bridge, that would be a total of $40. So in your packet, you'll see that breakdown. One thing I found interesting is that we have about 40% of our staff lives in the city limits of Destin. And I asked Jamie to see what she could find today and asked some of our sister cities. The only one we got a reply from was Fort Walton Beach, and 43% of Fort Walton Beach's staff lives in the city limits of Fort Walton Beach. So, you know, our ratio is very comparable to what's going on in Fort Walton, to those that live within the city limits of Destin. For your consideration, either of those three or none at all.
All right, Councilman Schmidt?
Yeah, I would just, since I brought this up, and thank you all for doing it, I'll make the motion to bring back this full-time, part-time, 40-20 split at the budget hearing cycle and include it in the upcoming budget planning.
All right, I have a motion. Do I hear a second? Man, he was even compromising too. Throw it in the budget cycle.
How about I modify my motion to bring back in the budget cycle an option?
I hear a second.
To bring back an option and not make it part of the planning, I'll second that.
Yeah, you know, it's just funny, like, this was like actually brought to us by a city employee that works for the city of Destin, you know? We do a lot of things for people, but when they actually ask us, it's like, we don't want to do something for them. But whatever y'all want to do, it's fine.
The only issue I would have is
Button, the people want to
only issue I'd
hear.
have is only some of the employees would be able to take advantage of it. Is that correct?
No, the one that I was, just gave was for every single employee. All across the board.
Yeah. Well, bring it back as an option. I'll support that and I second that motion.
All right, I got a motion and a second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. World's luckiest fishing village. You're fishing, I like it. You got something out of it. I know, just listening to the people.
Item 4M is we were asked at the previous council meeting to review a process whereby we could capture situations where someone may come to pull a permit, and that permit's based on the value of the project, and they grossly underestimate or underreport what they think that project's going to cost from a building permit standpoint. We tasked our chief building official to put a process in place where we could validate some of those numbers. She's done a good job of pulling some industry standards and some areas where we can capture what those reasonable numbers should be. Are they all going to be 100% spot on? Probably not, but we can figure out if they're grossly undervalued or substantially undervalued for that matter, and ask them for some more information to substantiate their numbers. So thanks, Noel, for that work, and this is something we're going to implement internally, so it doesn't necessarily need any action, but if you have any comments or thoughts on it, we'd be glad to hear them.
Yeah, after talking to a lot of people in the industry, this is exactly what they're looking for. Like, just tell me what you need, and let's not make another version of our yearly taxes from the government. And you tell me how much I tell you how much I think I owe you. I think they would just prefer that black and white. So no, this looks awesome, at least from what I've gathered. So thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none. All right.
Then to announcements before I hand off to Dr. Young, which I will do shortly. We want to welcome Tina Dieter back with us.
Welcome.
She's back in full force, so we're pleased to have that. Our clerk, Miss Lisa Wallace, will be at our next meeting. She starts next Monday, so we are breaking her in right. I'm sorry? Is she here? No, I don't know, she's not. And just a reminder that next Monday, 6 o'clock, is the quasi-judicial hearing for the Phase 2 of Emerald Grand. Harbor Walk Village, yeah. So, and we're for those of you that would like, we will reach out tomorrow to schedule a briefing of what staff report will look like before you. So Sherry will be reaching out to you tomorrow to schedule those. We will probably see if you want to do it in your regularly slotted council briefing time for those that have council briefings. If you don't, we're glad to handle you those as well. So we look forward to that. That's all I have. Dr. Young.
Thank you. Good evening. Earth Day 26 will take place this Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. It's the county's version of different cleanups, and ours will be, our City of Destin one will be at June White Decker Park. And you heard earlier tonight that we'll have Pooch Palooza this Saturday benefiting the Nancy Weidenheimer Dog Park, and that's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Our Arbor Day celebration, as we acknowledged earlier, will take place at Buck Dustin on Legion Drive on Friday, April 24th at 10 a.m. The library will be closed on Friday, April 17th. Library staff will be attending the Okaloosa County Public Library Cooperative Training Day. On Saturday, April 18th, we're co-hosting, along with CBA, a vertical oyster garden event at Captain Royal Melvin Heritage Park. That'll be from 1 to 2 p.m. It's free, and all materials will be supplied. It has a training educational component at the beginning, and then people will get to see a working vertical oyster garden in the harbor, thanks to John Stevens. And we'll have marine safe markers on hand for people wanting to decorate their oysters. The county's America 250 Grand Parade will take place in Crestview on Saturday, May 9th at 4 p.m. We've registered a council float in that parade to represent Destin, and other groups from the public are welcome to create their floats as well. The county is also hosting a gala on June 12th that the public is welcome to purchase tickets for. It will take place at the old fairgrounds. Ticket prices and information can be found online, and sort of the same thing with all these events. If you go on the city's official Facebook page, you can find more information. And then last, but certainly not least, the Noriego Point Recreation Area ribbon cutting will be Tuesday, April 28th at 10 a.m.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you so much. All right, public hearings. Ms. Kopp.
Thank you, Mayor. This is ordinance 2614 LC, an ordinance of the City of Destin, Florida, amending the official zoning map as referenced in the Land Development Code, Section 71201A2 zoning maps to include a change in the zoning designation of real property generally located at 446 Calhoun Avenue, as more particularly described in Exhibit A, consisting of approximately 0.78 acres from Bay Estates BE to Recreation REC, providing for authority, providing for findings of fact, providing for jurisdiction, providing for a zoning map amendment, providing for incorporation into the Land Development Code, providing for conflicting provisions, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
This is, all right.
This is second reading.
Oh, no, I was waiting for that.
This is second reading, and I
creature of
don't
habit.
believe we've received comments since first reading. Have we, Daniel? No.
No, okay. All right, with that, if anyone from the public wishes to speak on this specific item, this is your time to do so. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearings, and I'll entertain a motion. Councilwoman Trammell.
I move that the City Council adopt the proposed ordinance 26-14-LC on second reading.
All right, I have a motion. Do I hear a second? Second. With a second, any discussions? Seeing none, we'll call the vote on 2614 LC. All right, ayes have it. Ms. Kopp.
Thank you, Mayor. This is ordinance 2615 PC, an ordinance of the City of Destin, Florida, amending the comprehensive plan, providing for authority, providing for findings of fact, providing for the adoption of a small-scale amendment to the comprehensive plan, future land use map to include a change in future land use designation of real property generally located at 446 Calhoun Avenue, as more particularly described in Exhibit A, consisting of approximately 0.78 acres from Bay Estates BE to Recreation REC, providing for incorporation into the comprehensive plan, providing for conflicting provisions, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. This is second reading, and this is the comprehensive plan amendment that would be required to be in effect for the zoning to be changed.
All right, thank you for that. With this being a public hearing, if anyone wishes to speak on this specific item, this is your time to do so. Seeing none, I'll close the public comments at this time and entertain a motion. Councilwoman Trammell.
I move that the City Council adopt proposed ordinance 26-15-PC on second reading.
All right, I have a motion. Got a second. Councilman Bagby, any discussions? Seeing none. We'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it 5-0, so moved. Ms. Kopp.
Thank you, Mayor. This This is ordinance 2613 LC, an ordinance of the City of Destin, Florida, amending Section 110500 Marina Siting of the Land Development Code to require staff-level review of single-family residential docks, removing the requirement for review by Harbor and Waterways Board of single-family residential docks, removing the requirement for City Council review of single-family residential docks, providing for authority, providing for findings of fact, providing for incorporation into the Land Development Code, providing for conflicting provisions, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. This is first reading, and this ordinance was directed by the City Council to expedite and make more efficient the approvals for single-family residential docks. It would not apply to multifamily condos or commercial docks.
All right, thank you for that. Seeing that this is a public hearing at this time, if anyone wishes to speak on this specific item, this is your time to do so. Seeing none, we'll close the public comments, and I'll entertain a motion. Councilwoman Trammell.
I move that the City Council approve proposed ordinance 26-13-LC with the LPA's recommended changes, right? No, as presented, sorry.
All right, thank you for that. I have a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second? Second. With a second by Councilman Destin. Any discussions? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. I want to take this over so bad. All right, ayes have it, so moved, 5-0. All right, we did good on the public hearings. All right, comments, Councilman Braden.
Well, I had quite a few tonight, and I was going to speak about most of them on code compliance. But seeing how it's late, I'm going to defer to the next meeting.
God bless you. Councilwoman Trammell.
Thank you, Mayor. I had under my name the naming of parks and structures within parks. I found out that we don't have an ordinance for this. We've been using the same ordinance as the naming of streets. And so we're over 40 years old now. I think it's time we have an ordinance for naming parks and structures within parks. So I've asked that they look at the recommendations on the naming of streets and follow that up with the same recommendations for the naming of parks and elements within parks.
Perfect. I love that because I know we got a group that's trying to change the
So
name.
I'd like to make a motion that staff do that and bring it back to us.
Perfect. I
please.
got a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second? Out a second. I think it's an awesome idea. We're having some troubles renaming a street, and I think it's an easy ask, but there's a lot of lifting going on, so I hope that can clear some stuff up. So, yeah, and she said streets.
She said parks to be.
I thought you said you look over both of them. Okay, we have. Oh, well, slipping that one in there. Wasn't trying to slip anything in there. All right, got a motion, got a second for parks and structures. And I will call the vote, seeing no discussion. All right, 5-0, so moved. Councilman Destin.
I'd just like to say one
Oh,
more
sorry.
thing. Thank Lisa for the terrific egg hunt that she does every year. I don't know, how many eggs did you hide this year? 15,000.
Oh.
15,000 eggs. All right, Councilman Destin.
Thank you, Mayor. A meeting or two ago, we talked about a wall that was going to go on the section of the crosstown connector that goes through the old campground, and we asked staff to bring back up some estimates for us. I wondered if those are ready, or it reminds you to do it. Either way, it works.
Jeff?
Let's go with reminders, because I know we've been working with the engineering firm, and they were supposed to be bringing us back some
Yeah,
ideas.
they hope to have everything by next meeting.
So you'll have a price and a recommendation for us.
That,
I think they'll have options.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I know right there where it curves around, the folks that live on that curve are a little concerned that cars will be coming into their yard and would like to see a wall, and that's probably would be appropriate there, or cars will be coming into their yard. So I'll look forward to seeing the options.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
other question I had, I've heard earlier that the city was discussing with the University of Florida some use or some location over toward the community center, toward the property we bought. And since I missed last meeting, I wondered if I missed something.
I think you
Not-
asked for permission.
Not particularly. There's some broad discussions, probably with some of the Howard Group folks and some of their properties, and how that could work in conjunction with bringing a small study research facility initially. There's one in Cedar Key that we're kind of comparing to, and I think they've got, what did he say, 6 full-time staff members?
Yeah, it's more like an IFAS extension, and the idea is to couple it with the working harbor and the fishing fleet, and kind of not cross-promote, but use the assets that the fishing fleet has in conjunction with what the doctors and the research team would need to do a little bit more fishery and stuff like that nature. So the IFAS now is a little bit more farmland facilitating, and the idea is to bring more of a fishery facilitation of IFAS to this area.
And we have a location where we were thinking about putting it. It hadn't even gotten to that point yet.
No, just even just the option, do they need it? It seems like they're kind of biting at the apple. Okay, so what does that look like? And that's kind of where we're at, is seeming that the doctors and the higher ups seem to be agreeing with the conceptual, and from their mapping, it is an open part of their UF reach, and IFAS is under that, but that IFAS kind of being the main draw at the moment. So really just seeing if you'd be even interested in what that looks like. Seems like we got past the first hurdle. So at this point, I think we've tasked them internally to come up with some kind of presentation, some kind of, hey, what would this even be? And then we'd go from there, I guess, to even if we needed the council from a resolution of support to anything in between. But it seems to be a smaller scale, working with the fishing fleet.
And it might even possibly go down on our Harbor One.
That would
Yeah,
kind of be,
You're going to bring us back whatever it is so we can look at it and decide which direction to go, right?
Absolutely, and before that even becomes a discussion, you'll know about it. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
The,
Only question I had, I thought maybe I missed something at
no,
that
sir,
last meeting.
it's very much in its infancy, and they do have a facility in Milton.
Milton, yeah.
That would probably be the daddy to the baby version in Destin initially, until it grew and needed a home of its own. But even the Power Group has made a facility available for short term if it needs a place to land in the interim.
All right, thanks. That's the only question I had.
good deal. Councilman Bagby.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
All right. Nope. Councilman Schmidt.
Yeah, just one comment for everybody. Councilman Braden asked last month about speeding tickets and violations for traffic stuff. And we got it. And I was going through it recently because I noticed some speeding going on. And on the airport road over the past 6 months, I'm not sure if y'all saw this, but there's 457 traffic stops. And of those 457, there was only 19 citations and 12 arrests with 444 warnings. Do we get a say in like the contract about giving tickets, or is that, do y'all know if that's completely sheriff's department's?
I think I know a man. I know a guy.
I mean, you were concerned about speed and safety. When I read that, I was shocked.
I mean, I was shocked.
That's less than 10, that's less than 5%.
But I was shocked that just on Airport Road, there was over 400, they say 450
457.
stops.
I mean, every time I'm driving by, they're always pulled over.
Just there.
Yeah.
And then you take 98 from Airport Road all the way to the bridge,
2,000.
there was only 2,500.
That's a lot in that one little stretch.
Airport Road, 400 for something stop, yeah.
Yeah.
I just,
Captain?
What do you? What's the feedback?
It's not even legal for the sheriff to direct a deputy to write a citation.
Yeah. Is it just their discretion completely?
Completely the discretion of the deputy or the officer that's making the traffic stop.
Because I know you in the past, you've told us like, if y'all want more, if y'all want me to go do more speed stuff, we'll add a deputy, remove people, but then it's still their prerogative to actually write a ticket.
Yeah, in the end, it's up to it's up to the deputy. It's up to their discretion. Now, I will say that we use a lot of prior contacts when we make those decisions. It's very unlikely that if it's the first time that we've pulled you over for speeding, that you're going to get a citation unless you're just really going way over the limit. It's very likely if you're getting stopped the second time that you're going to get a citation.
Do you know if that's like common numbers with other areas, that percentage, or?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
I haven't done a comparison to it to another thing. I will say that I would assume that it's higher because right now we're doing what I talked to y'all about last time where we got the grant-funded traffic enforcement. And Airport Road was one of the higher crash areas that was identified as needing to be targeted for speed. So Airport is one of the roads in the city that we actually target for speeding in an attempt to bring down the number of traffic crashes that occur there.
Okay. Well, I know you guys do a great job, and I know you're out there, which is great, but when you see those numbers, it just kind of, gives me a gut punch a little bit. It's just like my kids, I keep giving them warnings, they keep doing the same damn thing, But I kind of wish we would give more citations, in my opinion, but that's all I have, but thank you.
All right. With that, the only thing I kind of heard, again, this is just funny or not, a lot of people were resonating with it, so I just wanted to bring it up. The manholes that are turning into potholes, because now that we're elevating the asphalt, the manholes feel deeper. And so I was hoping to get your guys' blessing to at least get Dr. Larry here to work with Destin water users and just identify, I'm assuming what that works like. I know, or we could answer it tonight. I'm assuming your predecessor had informed me this morning that it would be more or less, if it's for makeup and more of a not infrastructure damage, probably be on us. If there's actually something tied to the system, of course, then it's on y'all. But if it is on us, what would be acceptable for a riser or some kind of lift to the system? Monica, sorry to put you on the spot last minute, but if you're here for the whole day, you know what? Everyone deserves a time at the mic, I guess.
Earn those big bucks.
Yeah.
Typically, road resurfacing projects, if they're milling and resurfacing, it's usually the contractor's responsibility to raise the manhole to the new grade, whatever that may be, however they do that. There have been some participation efforts. We've participated with DOT before on the major state roads, but typically for city infrastructure, whether it be storm or communications or anything else, the contractors typically raise it as part of their contract from the history I recall. Is that correct, Michael?
Good. Yeah.
We haven't put it in their contract.
Michael?
Yeah, so we mill 2 inches, we replace it with 2 inches. So it's generally at the same elevation it was prior. And we're only talking about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch difference, not like the ones on 98, which are a little bit more significant, but the ones on Airport Road are they're almost at grade. I don't think they make like a 1/4 inch manhole riser.
For
That would be very, now we could just pave over them, Monica, if that would be okay. Monica? We'll just make it nice and smooth.
So I'll be the first to recognize we're all blessed that in a first world country, we're down to these things.
Yeah,
With that, I just wanted to see if we weren't missing anything in the process. If we're here to pave every road in the city and we're halfway through, just to make sure we're not missing anything. And is there a depth that you would feel at some point, what 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, sure, negligible. At what point do we go, okay, maybe we budget, even if it's lower than what we're about to mill? If we're bringing it to the same, but the same is still a gap, what would be, whether it's an opinion now or something you can tell me later, what would be like, all right, at 2 inches or more, we should probably start looking at something?
If it's 2 inches, you would spill your coffee on yourself probably. But before we pay any of these invoices, we go out and do thorough rides back and forth just to make sure that the rideability's there and that we don't have these 2-inch grade changes.
Okay.
So,
All right. I'll go out there with my ruler. I'll send you some photos.
My question is why is Airport Road, I wouldn't say horrible, but why is it so bad?
Well, I appreciate
We just
the upgrade.
resurfaced it, and you drive, I know you drive down it, because you're going home, and I see you, and I drive down it. And we've even said it in our briefing that, yeah, Airport Road is bad. So.
From holes,
what-
like
what
manholes,
happened?
or?
I mean, you say a quarter of an inch, but did they taper the asphalt down to the manhole cover? Because I drive down it multiple times a day, and it's bad. There's dips, and I don't know if it's because where the storm drains were busted and sand was soaking in them, and the whole road went down, because you can see the curbing is dipped way down where it's collapsed. None of that was fixed. So what?
we got what we contracted for was a 2-inch mill and a 2-inch replacement.
That's it. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't worry about fixing nothing. We just want to resurface it. And I mean, I get what you're saying. That's what we bid, and that's what we paid for. And they tore it up, scraped it, and just put it right back like it was, just smoother.
Well, over around the Planet Drive area, we did quite a bit of reconstruction over there because the base was failing. So we don't just mill and resurface. I mean, each street is kind of treated individually and assessed individually for its needs.
If we want Airport Road fixed, like on the turnarounds, there's several of them, and I've actually stopped and winched people off the curb ribbon, because there's a dip, because you can't make the turn, you're running off in the grass, and so there's a drop off, and I've personally pulled people off of that because they've bottomed out. We don't fix none of that. We don't fix the ribbons that's dropped down where the manholes covers is sunk. We don't fix
You
none
always,
of that. We just
those
scrape
little
it.
places where people are doing U-turns, I call those chug holes.
Right.
But we have installed several, at council's direction, with their approval, several no U-turn signs. Now, whether or not people abide by them, that would be a question for Captain Fulgham, but anyway. But no, people still follow their own behavior, their old behavior. If they're going to make a U-turn there, they're going to make a U-turn there. Now, we go fill them in, but they beat them out. There's one on Airport Road south of Commons in front of that commercial plaza. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. We have to go fill it in constantly because people do U-turns
Not
there.
behoove us to concrete that section or pave that section or something, so it's not a hole and people's tearing their vehicles up and.
Assuming it turns into stormwater calculation issues, but I agree.
Yeah.
Or close that up, or just close the median up, but Councilman Bagby? Yeah, I'm with you though.
No, are we talking airport or are we talking 98?
Oh, let's go with airport since we control airport, and I can
Okay.
call,
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
well, because those are minimal, but 98, I agree with you.
Mhm.
But of course, we lost a city manager who couldn't fix the potholes, or not potholes, the storm drains on 98, but it's the same on 85, which is Eglin Parkway
Mhm.
over in Fort Walton Beach. You go over there and it's like you're hitting
Yeah.
a dip, and I know Councilwoman Ramswell, her number one issue was the dip on 98 and the potholes, because I would watch in every meeting, she would discuss that. And it was like, I thought I saw on Facebook, you're going to Chipley to talk with the FDOT secretary, and I thought you were going to get that fixed.
well, we were with them yesterday, so we'll see what
Yeah.
they say.
Okay.
We'll see what they do, not what they say.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. All right, well, I appreciate the discussion there. Yeah, I'll let you know if I can run around town, not to bash you up too much. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things. Number one, I forwarded you all an email. Unfortunately, we had a council member that needed to resign from his position today. That was Council Member Guile, due to obligations that he has going on in his life right now. That leaves you with a vacancy. And so I just wanted to point out Section 309C of the city charter provides that when there's less than a year remaining in his term, or less than a year until the next city election, and we have both of those here, that the city council can appoint a council member by majority vote. So that's just for you all to think about to fill that vacancy until the next election.
All right.
I
Yep, Councilman Bagby?
Yeah, I direct staff to open up a window for applications for council member position, and probably keep it open for 2 weeks to advertise it on Facebook and in HR, and send out on our Facebook, wherever we can send it out, because that will not be the only vacancy that will come open between now and November. I know of at least one more that will come open before November, and I'll...
Pushing it that hard?
No, it doesn't bother me, but I intend to vote, be an elector when the primary is, so that'll tell you about when the window is.
Yeah.
The primary is August 18th, and I will be an elector in Walton County and no longer eligible to serve because I won't be an elector in Destin by the August the 18th. So we need to open that up, and whoever we pick to replace Mr. Guile, somebody will probably come in second. Hopefully, we'll have at least 2 applicants, and then, that will give y'all a pre-list to consider for the other potential vacancy.
Man, we could almost have a 5 councilman group. Dude, woo. Councilman Schmidt.
Yeah, I know it's late, but in my mind right now, part of me thinks, I don't know if we should do that. Part of me feels like with less than 7 months away from an election, potentially 6 months by the time that happens, I don't think there's a need, whether it's 6 of us or 5 of us. I think we should finish the next 5 to 6 months before the actual election versus having somebody come up here 4 to 6 months. And then I know in the past, there's been talks about the unfair advantage, things like that. So me personally, I would rather not, because we don't have to, I would rather not fill these vacancies and just let the people that have been elected by the people finish the next 4 to 6 months, unless there's something I'm missing.
Yeah, I would just say, if it were just one, I might agree with you. I'm not sure that I would, because I think there's a benefit to having 7 voices up here. If I know that there's going to be another, now it's 5, and all it takes is...
Not to interrupt you, but it's required under the charter that you fill the vacancy, actually. So it's not optional. It'll
Okay.
have to be filled. It's
Yeah.
optional as to how you do it, whether you open it up or just
Right.
appoint somebody. You shall fill the vacancy until the next election.
Words matter.
Yeah. So again, I'll make my motion that we direct staff to open it up to advertisement for the next 2 weeks, and that at the first meeting in May, we consider a replacement for, or at least at the next meeting, discuss the process for picking the replacement, because I do agree, I know the council in the past has said the person would have to agree not to be running because of the unfair advantage that you discussed, and I think that was in effect when we ran in 21 for...
Yeah, because, you beat me by 90 votes, 60, I don't know, close. For my first run, never being in politics. But then I replaced Ramswell, but she was 1 week within the year.
Yeah.
So then I got a 4-2 to get on, and then I ran for mayor.
Yeah. So, and I would just say, we can discuss those parameters at the next meeting, but we need to start advertising because we're going to need folks.
Yep. All right, so that's a motion?
Yeah.
All right, do I hear a second? I'll second that. All right, I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Rodney, yes, sir. Yep.
I don't know if it's appropriate now to make a substitute motion to appoint Chatham Morgan. He's not running, and I agree. I don't want somebody up here that's running. It's an unfair advantage.
He said he might be.
They told me he wasn't. As long as he's not.
Yeah,
I'd like to appoint him, or do we need to make your motion, and then I can make a motion to
Yeah,
appoint
because
him?
I want to talk to Chatham to confirm, he wants to do it. I think he would do a great job. He did a great job when he was up here as a council member. B, that he's not running, or if he's running, it doesn't matter to me, but if the council sets the rules of we want somebody that's not running, I want to talk to him before. I don't want to.
That's the only reason I wanted to appoint him,
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
told me himself that he was not running, but he would sit in the seat temporarily.
Yeah, and he's done that before.
Yeah.
All right,
So
with
is
that,
is it appropriate to make a substitute motion at this time for that, or do we need to vote on
You
it?
can make a substitute motion. I won't support that just until I talk to him. I'll just be.
yeah, so I kind of, where I'm thinking is, if we go with his, at the next meeting, we'd at least know who's who and what's what, and if there's an application out there, you'd know, all right, I plan to run, I don't plan to run. Here's the 3 people, here's the 4 people who want the open, but 2 of them are going to run the election. At least give you all the information versus let's appoint them and ask them after, confirm after.
If we get a couple applicants, say, this week, can we pick one of those people at the next meeting?
That's what I'm hoping for. I'd like to,
So if we keep the application period open until the agenda deadline, maybe that Wednesday before the April 20th meeting, then the city manager and I would be able to get those in the agenda for you, and you would be able to decide on the 20th.
yeah, with the questions being, you live in the city,
Well,
do you
have
plan to
be-
run?
Yeah.
I
You must be a
know.
resident.
Spell it out for the government. Basically asking, do you plan on running this November? It would be a differentiator that the council would want to
I don't know
understand.
that, I mean, you can ask that, but that's not a requirement
Okay.
in the charter.
Okay.
You do not have to.
You'll ask them that,
You
okay.
can be.
I'm sorry to make it
You
yeah.
can be appointed whether you intend to run or not.
Okay.
If council chooses not to select someone that's running, that's up to council.
Correct. I was just trying to get it on the agenda. So here's the applicants. They said yes. These 2 said no. These 3 said yes, they would run.
Well, do we want to set that as a criteria?
That way we all
at this
see it,
point?
we all know it.
Because I think that will affect the number of applicants we get, because, I mean, John's at every meeting, but he's probably going to run, but if he's not going to run, heck, I would probably pick him too, so, but we need to tell them what our criteria is.
Yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to add that asterisk of like, do we want to see that question so that when an agenda pulls out, everyone has all the applicants with that yes or no on there?
It's just window dressing anyway. They can say they don't, but if they want to run, we certainly can.
Well, if your word's not more than a handshake, then this town's too small for you. Yeah.
They might not intend to run at the time they're
And then
appointed,
fall
but
in
we
love
might
with
be
it.
so amazing up here that they change their mind and want to run.
Listen, I ain't gonna be a hypocrite on that run.
Standing job, the public may decide they want them to run. So,
Okay, yeah, so-
that's not a criteria that's high on my list.
All right, just throwing devil's advocate out there. All right, I got a motion without a substitute, so we're going to go with the original motion here. Any further discussions? Seeing none, we'll call the vote.
Before, just for clarity.
Yeah.
The original motion was for 2 weeks, but if we're going to do it.
Do you want this on the next?
Then we'll publish a week from tomorrow or Thursday, so it'll only be out a week.
Yeah, ideally, we're voting at the next meeting on our
So is that-
replacement.
Is that, okay, just want to make sure we're clear.
Yep. All right, everyone's nodding yes. We're done. The computer's done. All right, Councilman Schmidt, we're starting from this. Oh, one down. Come on. So close. Andy, I apologize for ever even wanting the system. Oh, gosh. There we go. 5-0, so moved. All right. More.
It'll be quick, but I'm looking for a legislative sponsor, if any of you would like to support this, to make the LDC and the charter consistent as far as the definition of beach. Right now, the beach extends landward from the mean low water line to basically the foot of the dunes. But our charter only has our jurisdiction to the mean high water line. So I would like to amend the LDC to define beach to go to the mean high water line.
Yeah, fine, I'll.
Want to be the legislative?
sponsor.
Okay, and the last item is, if you look at your spot on the dais, there will be an engagement letter of Ms. April Fisher with her hourly rates. This wasn't provided in time for agenda publication, but we are looking for an expert witness for our litigation involving Claude Perry Enterprises related to the public slips, and I'm recommending that we hire her for an expert witness in the event that we go to trial and for depositions and the like in that litigation. If you would approve of the document before you.
You need that in the motion? Yes. Okay.
Motion to approve.
All right, seconded by Councilman Braden. Seeing no other discussions, unless I can self-appoint myself to that position. All right, we'll call the vote. We believe. We believe. All right, let's have it so moved, 5-0.
Nothing further, Mayor.
All right, public comments. Come on, I know this ain't for pure entertainment.
So I had asked for an update. I had sent out information of what I provided the council to try and move things forward. I've sat here for the last 4 or 5 council meetings. I hear about the frustration about expense. We spent $80,000 for this study. We spent $80,000 for this. I believe I've been more than reasonable in trying to present information, trying to say, hey, how do we fix this? I've had 3 contractors come out and look at it. They're ready to go. Okay, here's what we can do. What's this option? What that's option? So, I look for direction. I look for council to provide a response or acknowledge my response on the red lines. I don't think it's unreasonable. I would have expected just a 10-second comment. I know everybody's been here for 4 hours tonight, but I would have expected a 10-second comment, acknowledgement of what my statement was actual, factual, and true, and that council was aware. So, I'm at your beck and call. I continue to be reasonable, but this is an issue that needs to be addressed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Kopp sent us over an email shortly ago about this situation. Can you please speak to the, update?
Yeah, no problem. We've responded to Mr. Fitzpatrick multiple times, both verbally and in writing. I actually forwarded you copies of the correspondence. We provided a formal response via a teleconference between Kyle Bauman and myself on March 17th. It was followed up in writing by Mr. Bauman with the response that we provided verbally. The city doesn't have liability for this. That is our position. So we rejected any cash payments requested by Mr. Fitzpatrick. However, we did offer to provide an easement if he was willing to accept it, to go on the property and perform studies to determine if there was anything that council would be willing to do for a resident with taxpayer dollars to assist. There was not a waiver of liability in that easement other than for any damages based on the studies, and there were 3 little sub criteria on that easement that said if any damage was done during those studies, there would not be liability to the city. It did not go back and talk about initial liability. That was sent to him on March 25th, and we didn't hear back until Easter weekend 2 days ago. So that's where it's at. Thanks.
Yeah, if we can talk after or switch it out after, if that's okay with you, I think it'd just be more appropriate to get it off the stand. Yeah.
I think it's appropriate for the record because that's what I was looking for, and I
Okay.
do have one very quick.
Okay, if you make it quick,
I don't
please.
know what perpetual release of claims means in an easement agreement to everybody here in the room, but I think that you can look at perpetual release of claims for anything related to drainage, et cetera. So you can read the document. So that's the way I interpret it. I simply sent back very simple red lines that said, I'll provide an easement. I've got the adjacent parcel owner to also agree. However, at this time, it's premature to release any claims. So that was my response.
All right,
so,
thank you, sir. Right. Button.
The easement that we sent dealt with going on the property to perform studies related to the drainage, and the release of claims was for any causes of action or liabilities whatsoever based on 1, the city's entry upon the property pursuant to this easement, that's for drainage studies and inspections. B, the drainage studies and related activities conducted on the property, same thing. And C, any conditions, impacts, or consequences associated with such activities. So it's for going on the property for the studies and inspections.
Well, that seems pretty clear then. I don't know what the issue is.
I don't either, but it's okay.
We can talk after. I'm happy to make a quick comment.
Yeah, if you want to make a quick comment, if you can come up here, though, come up.
You gotta come up here.
Yeah, no, because I would definitely appreciate and respect you coming every meeting, so let's try to nip this somewhere.
Attorneys, it's hard to get two attorneys to agree to anything. I think we'd all agree with that. We've all had that. No offense.
Kyle and I have agreed on everything with this.
No offense. Okay, so basically you can read the language. It says, okay, we got studies. You start playing with words, right? So my response basically came back, no waiver of claims. Okay, I didn't contradict anything. If that is actually your purpose, I don't see why you'd have a problem with my language. Basically striking. So it's an interpretation with regards to the agreement. If that was truly the intent of the release, I would ask if you forwarded the agreement. I think anybody here is a business. If they were to read the agreement, it could be interpreted multiple ways. Okay, so all my red line did was tighten it back, just make sure that we were clear from my perspective. So,
Well, counsel, the easement was sent to us on Easter weekend. We haven't even reviewed it yet. And what was said tonight was that there have been no responses from the city attorney. So now you know that there have been responses for weeks. That's the end of the story. We'll review the easement that was sent to us on Easter weekend. Thank you.
Well, it sounds like it's being reviewed.
okay, and so that's all I'd asked for tonight, was ask for an update to be provided.
The
So,
fact is, Ms. Kopp represents us, and so her advice is what we will listen to. But I'd like to see us work that issue out so we can actually see if there's anything we can do.
okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, anyone else? Public comments? Seeing none, I will close and adjourn this meeting.